How hard is it for the matrilocal son-in-law of a wealthy family, having such a beautiful wife, but only being able to look without physical contact? His name is Qin Li, and due to practicing a cultivation method, he hasn't been able to speak for 10 years. He has become known as a mute waste in other people's descriptions. That day, Qin Li was ordered to pick up his wife's younger sister after school. As soon as they met, his wife's younger sister started insulting him. "Why is it you, this mute, here to pick me up? Aren't there other people at home? Why are you standing there stupidly? Hurry up and open the car door." Wife's younger sister has been mooching off the Chu family for over a year, even threw her backpack at Qin Li, yet she still hasn't found a job. "In the future, don't just stand here stupidly when picking me up. You should stay further away from the school. If you are seen picking me up, be sure to laugh at me." Encountering such a brother-in-law, I don't know what my sister is thinking. How did she agree to this marriage in the first place? Facing the sarcastic remarks from the wife's younger sister, Qin Li, unable to speak in defense, could only clench the steering wheel tightly. Upon arriving home, Qin Li from the Chu family entered the house through the back door and went upstairs. In the living room, the mother-in-law is receiving guests at home. This handsome man is Lao Mingho, who has been a childhood playmate of Qin Li's wife, Chu Pingyin, since childhood. Just returned from studying abroad. Heard that beloved goddess Pingyin has tied the knot. Came to the Chu family on purpose to inquire about Qin Li's information. I heard that Pingyin's husband is unable to speak, so he has been staying at home. I wonder if I could meet this matrilocal son-in-law. Admiring the financial power of Lao's mother-in-law, originally intended to matchmake Lao Mingho with daughter Pingyin. As for that mute Qin Li, a grown man who does nothing all day but stay at home. In a few days, I will have him divorce Pingyi. He has just picked up my youngest daughter. He goes straight into the house and stays inside, then yells upstairs. Qin Li quickly comes down to see the guests. When he goes home, he hides in his room. Is he afraid to see people? Even the wife's younger sister ran upstairs, wanting to humiliate Qin Li, really treating this place as their own home. "Didn't you hear my mom calling you?" Saying that, she pushed open Qin Li's door. However, she saw Qin Li sitting bare-chested on the ground. The wife's younger sister ran out awkwardly. At this critical moment, Qin Li is practicing cultivation, only to see the mystical power in the air being absorbed into his body. The mystical power is rushing through his body like a galloping horse, enduring humiliation and carrying heavy burdens for 10 years. Let us see what happens today. Qin Li slowly opened his eyes, looking at the condensed sphere of mystic power in his hand. It has been 10 years. The cultivation method has finally been completed. Haven't spoken in 10 years. It does feel a bit strange. Listening to the scolding of my mother-in-law, Qin Li slowly put on his clothes, slowly walked down the stairs. As soon as he got off the stairs, Lao Mingho walked over. "This must be Qin Li. Hello. I am Lao Mingho." Lao Mingho shook Qin Li's hand, bent down and said, "I heard you rely on pinyin to make a living. It's rare to see a mute person living off a woman's money." "Haha, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You must be eyeing the wealth of the Chu family to marry into it. I'll give you 100,000 yuan. You divorce Pingyin immediately. Get out of the Chu family." Before Lao Mingho could finish speaking, a sudden surge of tremendous force came from his hand. Instantly, it caused him so much pain that he screamed out loud. Qin Li said, "Hello, my name is Qin Li." The mother-in-law and the wife's younger sister were shocked on the spot when they heard this. "Qin Li, you spoke." Lao Mingho forgot the pain just now, "So you can speak after all." "Can speak but pretend to be mute. You are just a fraud, deceiving the Chu family for so long. What exactly is your plot?" Mother-in-law saw Lao Mingho suffer losses. Furious, she instructed Qin Li to let go immediately. Just at this moment, the phone of the wife's younger sister suddenly rang. "What?" Wife's younger sister exclaimed. Her face instantly changed. "The police are going to arrest my sister." Upon hearing the news about his wife, Qin Li quickly stepped forward and grabbed his wife's younger sister's hand. He asked, "What happened to Pingyin?" "The company had an accident. The police took my sister away. 1 million in losses." This woman is claiming 1 million in compensation from the company just because she got pimples on her face from using cosmetics. Otherwise, she will make the company and Pingyin go bankrupt. Mother-in-law looked shocked. 1 million. You are asking for an exorbitant amount. Lao Mingho on the side couldn't wait to step forward to speak. "This young lady, just now Pingyin also said that many people have used this cosmetic product. No one else has had any problems. Only you had a problem. Obviously, it's due to your personal skin condition. It's also possible that you did it on purpose to extort money. At the same time, it also indicates that they have connections in the police station." Hope the woman becomes more self-aware. Who knew the woman wasn't afraid of Lao Mingho's threats at all? What kind of role is the chief of police? Let me tell you. I am Lu Wan, the highest official in Luzhong, the city of Wanyangcheng. He is my paternal cousin. Do you think my face is worth $1 million? What? The mayor's paternal cousin. Everyone was shocked and turned pale. The previously arrogant Lao Mingho immediately became afraid, thinking of quickly distancing himself from Ping Yi. In fact, I don't have much to do with the whole thing. Ms. Pingyin Liu used your company's cosmetics and broke out in acne no matter what. It's reasonable for them to ask for 1 million compensation. Just then, a voice suddenly sounded behind the crowd. Miss Liu, can you give me 10 minutes? If I can heal your face within 10 minutes, would you agree to drop the matter? What do you think? Chu Pingyin turned around and saw that the person coming was indeed Qin Li. Lao Mingho, who had already been cowardly, regained his pretentious manner when he saw Qin Li appear. You, an adopted son-in-law, dare to show off your abilities here like a useless person. You are bringing shame to the Chu family. On the side, Pingyin was surprised that Qin Li could talk, but still spoke up and advised, Qin Li, things are already chaotic enough. Please don't make it worse. I want you to leave quickly. I don't want Qin Li, who usually nods obediently, to suddenly have his own opinions. Don't worry. The current me is different from before. It's also time for me to fulfill my duties as a husband. Lao Mingho had a smile on his lips. Isn't it just that the mute can finally speak? I almost thought you had become immortal. It's really laughable. The crowd watching the excitement around them is also laughing at the joke. So this is the useless son-in-law of the Chu family. A man who relies on women for a living dares to come here and show off. Let's see how he embarrasses himself later. Qin Li ignores the verbal attacks from the crowd. Ms. Liu, I can treat the abscess on your face. Why should I trust you? If the treatment doesn't work, I'm willing to take full responsibility. Do as you wish. Lu Wan sneered coldly.
Fine.
I'll give you 10 minutes. If it doesn't work, don't blame me for being ruthless. Pingyin quickly grabbed Qin Li. Qin Li, what are you trying to do? Don't cause me any more trouble. Hurry up and apologize to Miss Liu. It's okay. The pustule on Pingyin's face is just caused by heatiness. Help me prepare the traditional Chinese medicine ingredients. I will take care of the rest. Watching Qin Li's confident look, Pingyin ultimately didn't say anything. Soon, the traditional Chinese medicine needed by Qin Li was brought over. It was agreed beforehand that if anything goes wrong, the Chu family will not be responsible. The Chu family won't help with this kind of thing. Qin Li is well aware of that. But the current Qin Li is no longer the helpless mute waste who relied on the Chu family. Only saw Qin Li pouring water inside, while stirring traditional Chinese medicine. In no time, the bowl of freshly cooked traditional Chinese medicine ointment will be ready. Lu Wan looked at this disgusting traditional Chinese medicine ointment, soothed himself for a long time. Only a little was applied to his face, threatening in his mouth. Kid, you better not lie to me. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. This woman is claiming 1 million in damages just because she has some pimples. Qin Li made a batch of traditional Chinese medicine ointment using special skills. Please invite Ms. Liu to try it. Make sure it works. Qin Li applied the ointment on Ms. Liu's face. Strong traditional Chinese medicine flavor. Irritated, Ms. Liu rushed into the bathroom. Not long after, there came a loud scream from Ms. Liu in the bathroom. Hearing the scream, a crowd gathered. Immediately, mocking laughter broke out. Ms. Liu was probably tricked by this guy badly. Let's see how he is going to apologize to Ms. Liu later. Just then, Ms. Liu ran out with a face full of surprise. It's really magical. Handsome guy, how did you do it? Everyone looked at Ms. Liu. Her skin was radiant and glowing. Even her chin almost dropped. How is this possible? Lao Mingho exclaimed in astonishment. Chu Pingyin also quickly approached and asked Qin Li, how did you do it? Qin Li shrugged and replied, I used to study pharmacology in school. Ms. Liu touched her smooth skin, no longer possessing the previous imposing manner. She leaned towards Qin Li and asked in a sweet voice, handsome, can you treat other diseases? Qin Li replied, it depends on the symptoms. I need to see the patient to determine if I can treat them. Although she felt that her paternal uncle's illness was very complex, Ms. Liu, who was just amazed by Qin Li's magical medical skills, decided to give it a try and offered a sky-high reward of 500,000 as payment for a cure. Seeing the opportunity to make money, Qin Li immediately agreed. You are crazy. You are not allowed to go. This is completely different from treating acne. You are not a doctor and things could go wrong. The other party is the father of the mayor. If something happens, the Chu family won't cover for you. Pingyin nearby quickly tries to dissuade him.
Qin Li siga.
It turns out that his wife cares about the Chu family, not him. I am responsible for my own decision. If something goes wrong, it will not involve the Chu family. Later, he and Ms. Liu arrived at Yangqing City Hospital. At this moment, Mayor Liu is anxiously discussing treatment options with the best doctors in the city to save his own father. But the deterioration of the condition has already exceeded the doctor's expectations. The patient has been admitted to the ICU. Mrs. Lu quickly pulled Qin Li forward after learning that her paternal uncle is in critical condition. Zhang is a legendary physician I have encountered. His medical skills are very advanced, and he can treat the illness of her paternal uncle. Mayor Lu looked at the young Qin Li in front of him for a long time before speaking. Are you a doctor?
Qin Li nudda confidently.
You are just a little over 20 years old. Could you please show me your medical qualification certificate? I'm sorry, I do not have a medical license. Mayor Lu immediately flew into a rage and shouted at Ms. Lu, Are you joking? How can you treat my father without a license? And just at that moment, the door of the ICU was pushed open. A nurse rushed out in panic, saying that the patient's vital signs were weak and immediate rescue was needed. Mayor Lu was greatly shocked. He immediately rushed into the ward. He looked at his father's lifeless face and asked the doctor about his father's condition. The doctor replied apologetically, We have done our best. Mayor Lu's expression immediately turned sad when he was sentenced to death by the doctor. At this moment, Qin Li walked to the side of the sickbed. Mayor Lu, there is still a chance of salvation for the old gentleman. Do you dare to make a bet with me? What do you have to offer me? If I fail to save the old man, you can treat me as a fraud and throw me in jail. But if I manage to save your father, you must apologize to me. Mayor Lu suddenly stood up and said, Who do you think you are? Get out of here. It's okay if you don't believe me, but I can guarantee that you will regret it. Qin Li turned and walked out of the ward. When she reached the door, she found that Ping Yin had also arrived at the hospital and had been eavesdropping outside the door the whole time. He is always eager to show off. Feeling better now? Hurry home. Don't embarrass yourself here. Just as Qin Li and his companion were about to leave, a sudden, piercing alarm sounded in the hospital room. The doctor shouted angrily at the nurse to quickly grab the defibrillator. After the rescue, Mayor Lu's father did not regain a heartbeat. The doctor shook his head helplessly. We are also at a loss. Please do not be overly sad. Mayor Lu suddenly knelt by the bedside and burst into tears. And just at this moment, the door of the hospital room suddenly opened. A figure quickly approached the bed.
Stand Aside.
The patient still has a chance to be saved. Qin Li took out silver acupuncture needles from his body. The whole body is filled with energy. Infuse mystic power into the silver acupuncture needles. Quickly inserted into the patient's body. Cough. The patient, who was motionless before, suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. His complexion also gradually returned to normal.
Qin Li relaxed a bit.
Fortunately, it was just in time. Finally rescued. But the doctor beside him was shocked. How is this possible? Mayor Lu and Mrs. Lu by the bed were happy instead of sad. You finally woke up. Qin Li, who completed the task, turned around and planned to leave, but heard a loud noise behind him. Mayor Lu knelt to the ground on both knees. The dignified mayor actually knelt down and apologized to a young man. Qin Li quickly bent down to help Mayor Lu up. Mayor Lu, I only made a bet with you in order to save someone. Please don't take it to heart. Ms. Lu looked at Dr. Qin Li with admiration in her eyes. I am truly sorry for today's events. In addition, I will transfer the promised 50,000 yuan in payment to you right away. Please provide me with your bank account number. After Qin Li provided her bank account number to Ms. Lu, she left the room. Ping Yin didn't actually leave. You were just lucky today. Don't try to interfere forcefully in the future. With that said, she walked away with her charming long legs. Qin Li looked helpless. I didn't expect that I am so useless in her heart. In the evening, when the two of them arrived home, the mother-in-law rushed over with an anxious expression on her face. My darling Ping Yi, today's events really made me worry to death. You weren't scared, were you? It's okay not to have the opinion. Immediately changing his face, he roared at Qin Li. Why haven't you cleaned the room yet? What are you standing there for? Qin Li replied lightly, Oh, then went upstairs. Qin Li finished the housework and then went to clean Ping Yin's room. Pushing open the door, Qin Li's eyes lit up. Ping Yin was wearing pajamas and practicing yoga on the bed. Qin Li quickly turned around to go tidy up the clothes. Ping Yin slowly spoke up. I heard from Ziyin that you exposed your naked body to her today? Qin Li let out a heavy sigh. He was really fed up with this wife's younger sister. She had a good appearance and figure, but her talent for spreading rumors was a headache. It's none of my business. This morning when I was changing clothes, she barged in without knocking. Ping Yin responded lightly, Oh, I see. I know Ziyin's character. You probably don't have the ability to bully her. Also, in the future, don't get involved in things like today. Today you can safely escape unscathed. It's purely good luck. After listening to Ping Yin's lesson, Qin Li immediately wanted to leave the room. By the way, there is a family banquet tomorrow. Please come along. He said that, and then collapsed heavily onto the soft bed. It was really exhausting today. No problem. Thank you again for today. Listening to Ping Yin's gratitude, the frustration in Qin Li's heart disappeared in an instant. The next day, Qin Li and Ping Yin arrived at the family banquet on time. Relatives all around greeted them with smiles on their faces. Qin Li knew that the family banquet appeared to be harmonious and joyful on the surface. But behind the scenes, there was a hidden struggle of rivalry and comparison. Just after everyone had sat down for not long, Ping Yin's paternal aunt began to feel unhappy. Ping Yin, when will you have children? Aunt, we are not ready yet. No need to rush. Take advantage of being young and have children earlier. You should make your parents worry less. My son-in-law Chengwan is reassuring. Unlike some people who still need to be supported by women, seemingly caring words instantly turned into mockery towards Qin Li. And at this moment, the mother-in-law on the side was also chiming in. Sister, how can your Chengwan be an ordinary person? The paternal aunt laughed until the makeup on her face started to come off. Turn to look at Chengwan. Chengwan, don't you have something to give to your uncle? Hurry up and take it out. Chengwan stood up and presented a red brocade box to his father-in-law. Uncle, I have prepared a small gift for you. Please accept it. The father-in-law joyfully took the brocade box, opened it, and was immediately shocked when he saw a blue and white porcelain bowl inside. Chengwan looked pleased. That's right. Uncle has such good taste. I know Uncle likes blue and white porcelain, so I went to great lengths and spent 500,000 to buy this blue and white bowl from the Yuan dynasty. Blue and white porcelain from the Yuan dynasty. 500,000. Father-in-law said. Chengwan spent too much money, but he looked extremely happy with a cherishing expression on his face. At this moment, sitting across from them, Qin Li felt that something was amiss. He gathered mystic power in his eyes and instantly saw that the bowl was tainted with a strong malefic energy. It must have been carefully replicated and then placed back in the tomb, nurtured by malefic energy to become like this. Chengwan, who is pleased with himself, looks at Qin Li. I wonder what gift my brother-in-law has prepared for my uncle. After speaking, she suddenly had a look of realization. Oh, my bad. My brother-in-law doesn't have a job. He relies on my sister for support. I'm about to get promoted to become a section chief. How about having my brother-in-law work as a cleaner in our section? Even though the salary is only around 1,000 yuan, it's still better than asking people for money. Before Qin Li had a chance to speak, the originally calm Ping Yin let out a cold snort. Brother-in-law, thank you for your kindness. But no matter what Qin Li does, it's not for you to meddle in. Qin Li slowly stood up. I rushed here today and didn't prepare any gifts, but whatever I give will be much better than the counterfeit brother-in-law presents. Chengwen's face showed anger on the surface. You useless matrilocal son-in-law. What gives you the right to say that my gifts are counterfeit? But deep down, he couldn't help but wonder. Did he figure it out? That's impossible. The other party guaranteed that no one would notice. The originally smiling father-in-law also spoke up. Qin Li, shut up. At that moment, the door of the private room was pushed open. Mayor Liu and an old man dressed in Tang's suit walked in. Counterfeit? What counterfeit? Can I have a look? Old man? Mayor Liu and an old man dressed in Tang's suit walked into the private room. Upon seeing Mayor Liu, Chengwen immediately stood up, with a smile on his face.
Mayor.
Mayor Liu, why are you here? Upon seeing Mayor Liu reaching out his hand, Chengwen felt secretly delighted. He quickly walked up to greet him. I didn't expect you to know about my humble position as a section chief. Let me introduce you to everyone. This is Mayor Liu of our Yangqing city. But Mayor Liu walked directly past Chengwan and approached Qin Li instead. He shook hands with Qin Li warmly. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet Mr. Qin here. I really must thank you for yesterday. Qin Li smiled and replied, don't mention it, it was just a small favor. Mayor Liu waved his hand. No need to be so polite. Chengwan, who had been ignored on the side, interjected, Mayor Liu, Qin Li used to be a useless nobody. Are you sure you're not mistaking him for someone else? Useless nobody. Mayor Liu's face was full of astonishment. Turning to Qin Li, Mr. Qin, do you have any conflicts with this person? Qin Li laughed and waved his hand.
No.
He is my brother-in-law. We were just discussing whether this antique is a fake or not. Mayor Liu also likes to collect antiques. Looking at the porcelain on the table, he immediately recognized it as a blue and white bowl. Mr. Wu, you are an expert in appraising antiques. Come over here and take a look. Mr. Wu laughed and said, I haven't appraised antiques in many years, but blue and white porcelain used to be my specialty. He picked up the large bowl on the table and examined it carefully. Judging by the color, it seems to be a genuine piece from the Yuan dynasty. Hearing Mr. Wu's evaluation, Changwen finally breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, I spent a lot of money on this purchase. It must be authentic. It seems that my brother-in-law made a mistake. Qin Li, on the other hand, raised doubts. Do you also think it's an authentic piece? Mr. Wu looked at Qin Li with a serious expression. He exuded a compelling aura all over his body. Are you questioning my appraisal? Faced with such a palpable pressure, Qin Li did not back down. Isn't it a counterfeit after all? Just as the two were at an impasse, Mr. Wu suddenly changed his expression. He burst into laughter and reached out to pat Qin Li's shoulder. Indeed worthy of Mayor Lu's appreciation. Bold indeed. Mr. Wu looked at everyone. Yes, this blue and white bowl is a fake. The craftsmanship of the blue and white floral pattern is exquisite, but it lacks a unified charm. This blue and white porcelain from the Yuan dynasty looks real from a distance, but up close, intentional traces of aging are seen on the glaze. In fact, it is a high-quality imitation fake. Moreover, this bowl feels chillingly icy to the touch. It must have been done to make it more realistic. If it has been placed in a tomb and nourished with malefic energy for some time, it is a sinister item. How could you give such a thing? Listening to Mr. Wu's analysis, the people present were shocked. The father-in-law quickly wiped his hands, looking unlucky. The paternal aunt was furious and interrogated Chengwon. How could you give such a thing? Chengwon, exposed in his lie, was extremely embarrassed. Seeing the truth come to light, Mayor Lu quickly asked Qin Li to find another place to talk, clearly needing his help. Dad, you guys go ahead and eat. I'll go out for a bit and come back, he said, then walked out with Mayor Lu. At this moment, the people in the private room were all unsettled. From being a nobody to now a trusted person by the mayor, the change was too significant. The previously arrogant paternal aunt now looked enviously at the mother-in-law. Sister, your son-in-law has such a good relationship with the mayor. He's much more capable than our Chengwon. Though the mother-in-law was surprised, she was mostly delighted. We didn't want to bring this up. We really didn't want to bring this up. But who knew that Mayor Lu would come personally? We can't keep it low-key anymore. Outside the private room, Mayor Lu looked at Qin Li with a worried expression. To be honest, Mr. Qin, there have been many strange incidents in my house in the past 2 months. Besides my father inexplicably falling ill, my son has also become increasingly erratic. While my wife and I haven't fallen ill, we have become unusually irritable. We visited many hospitals but couldn't find any answers. Qin Li checked Mayor Lu's pulse and suddenly revealed an expression of understanding. It turned out to be evil energy. Mayor Lu, don't worry. Once the banquet is over, I will visit you in person and help you completely resolve this trouble. Mayor Lu is overjoyed, thinking that there is finally help. Because Qin Li has brought honor to the Chu family, father-in-law got drunk that day. Qin Li helped father-in-law into the car and asked them to go back first. Then she set off to Mayor Lu's house. Unexpectedly, when passing through an alley, a large group of people suddenly appeared in front of her. The leader, Lao Mingho, had a triumphant smile on his face.
Qin Li.
We meet again. This time, I'll send you to hell. Lao Mingho smiled triumphantly. Qin Li, we meet again. I'm going to make you die. Facing multiple people, Qin Li is completely unafraid. Holding his ear with his pinky finger, he looks disdainful. You really are relentless, Lao Mingho. Qin Li, I won't take your life today. I will only break 2 of your fingers. Brothers, attack for me. I will pay 50,000 yuan to have the fingers broken. Do you think I am still the old Qin Li? Only see Qin Li's body filled with mystic power. Fists and feet are like lightning. Instantly knock down all the hooligans to the ground. It seems like you didn't bring enough people. Lao Mingho was so shocked that his jaw almost dropped. What's going on? How did he suddenly become so powerful? Is he still the same mute waste of space? Qin Li hooked his finger at Lao Mingho. Want to call Lao Mingho over? Lao Mingho was scared to death. He ran away immediately. Qin Li also ignored the situation. She thought that doing important things was more crucial. Soon, Qin Li arrived at Mayor Lu's house. As soon as he entered the yard, Qin Li felt a faint malefic energy. Qin Li rang the doorbell. In no time, the door opened. Mayor Lu looked very anxious. Mr. Qin, please come in quickly. I've been waiting for you for a long time. The malefic energy inside the house is clearly more severe than outside. Qin Li is under the leadership of Mayor Lu. Soon, they arrived at Mayor Lu's son's room. However, when they pushed open the door, Mayor Lu found his wife sitting paralyzed on the ground. Darling, what's wrong? Little Jia is sick again. Mayor Lu quickly entered the room and helped his wife up. When he turned to check on his son, little Jia, he was stunned. Little Jia was floating in the air with a pained expression on his face. And above him, there was an evil spirit. Mr. Qin, please hurry up and save him. Don't worry, I will save him now. Qin Li took out silver acupuncture needles from his clothes, infused with mystic power, quickly shot towards the evil spirit, instantly dispersing the evil spirit temporarily, sneaked into the child's body. The situation is critical. Qin Li infused the silver acupuncture needles with mystic power, quickly inserted the silver acupuncture needles into the child's brow. The evil spirit was forced out. Qin Li instantly shot out 3 silver acupuncture needles, finally completely dispersed the evil spirit. Mayor Lu's wife held the awakened child and burst into tears. Don't worry, he is fine now, but I still need to find the source of the malefic energy. Qin Li searched inside the house while asking Mayor Lu if his family has received any gifts recently or if anything unpleasant has happened. There hasn't been anything unpleasant. But because I like collecting things, I did receive a pair of stone lions, right by the entrance. Later, the 2 of them arrived at the entrance. Found it. Qin Li took out a small stone from the mouth of the stone lion. Mayor Lu looked curious. Just this small stone? Yes. This stone contains extremely strong malefic energy. You come in contact with it every day when entering and leaving the house. Over time, you will be infected by it. Under the influence of malefic energy, you will become irritable and weakened. This is the end of it. Qin Li performed the cultivation method and instantly crushed the small stone at home. At this moment, Mayor Lu's wife also quickly came out to thank Qin Li after calming down the child. Mr. Qin, thank you so much for saving little Jie today. Mayor Lu even proposed the idea of helping Qin Li open a medical clinic. Qin Li thought to himself, if he were to open a medical clinic, he could help more people. So this cultivation method can also be considered as self-taught. Thank Mayor Lu then. Night is falling quickly. Qin Li is sitting in Mayor Lu's car on the way home. Suddenly, a familiar figure on the roadside catches Qin Li's attention. Master, please stop the car quickly. After stopping the car, Qin Li quickly saw clearly the person through the car window. Isn't that Pingyin? It's so late. Why is she here? Just as Qin Li was puzzled, a graceful figure woman walked towards Pingyin. It turned out to be meeting her best friend. It seems like I was overthinking. I don't want to think about the next second. Qin Li was suddenly shocked. What's going on? Qin Li widened his eyes. I was actually cuckolded by a woman. Pingyin turned out to be a lesbian. If you find out your wife is a lesbian, what would you do? Qin Li is on her way home. Discovered that his wife Chu Pingyin is actually a lesbian. His chin dropped in shock. Pingyin was led into the bar by a glamorous red-haired woman, still whispering in Pingyin's ear. My little darling, I missed you so much. I thought you had forgotten about me. The 2 sat at the bar. They ordered 2 blue cocktails. I've been so busy lately. Encountered some problems at work. Work is never done, you know. Don't think about those unpleasant things tonight. Let's just have a good time. The 2 raised their glasses. All right, we won't go back until we're drunk. Under the influence of alcohol, Pingyin's usual aloof facade was slowly being set aside. It turned out that initially, it was to avoid a marriage arranged by the family. So, I chose to marry Qin Li. After all, the previous Qin Li was a waste of space as a matrilocal son-in-law. This way, it won't interfere with Pingyin and her lesbian girlfriend's dates. My poor baby is really being wronged, she said tenderly. While speaking, she didn't forget to persuade Pingyin to drink. Come on, let's finish this glass too. Perhaps it was because he was happy. Pingyin finished one glass after another. Soon, unable to hold his liquor, he slumped onto the shoulder of the red-haired woman. The woman saw that Pingyin had passed out. She stood up and supported Pingyin, slowly walking towards the room upstairs. The one who didn't want to open the door was Lao Mingho. After the woman handed over the Pingyin to Lao Mingho, she cleverly exited the door. Lao Mingho placed the Pingyin on the bed. Looking at the perfect figure of Pingyin, Lao Mingho's face showed an evil smile. He used his index finger to touch Pingyin's lips. Who told you not to divorce that waste of space? I had no choice either. Please don't blame me. He laughed heartily after speaking. Then he turned around, opened the camera by the bedside, aiming to capture the entire process of plotting against Pingyin. Just as Lao Mingho was about to undress, there was a knocking sound at the door. Annoyed at being interrupted, Lao Mingho called out impatiently, "Who is it?" A voice of a red-haired woman came from outside the door. I'm here to deliver condoms. Lao Mingho was thinking that this woman had taken the money. The job was done rather well. He then pushed open the door. What Lao Mingho saw after opening the door was not the red-haired woman at all. It was Qin Li instead. How come it's you, you useless person? Lao Mingho shouted arrogantly. But he quickly remembered how Qin Li had taken down a group of thugs on his own before, so he quickly softened his tone. Qin Li, don't misunderstand. I just saw Pingyin was drunk, so I helped her open the room. Before Lao Mingho could finish speaking, Qin Li slammed his knee viciously into Lao Mingho. With tremendous force, Lao Mingho was sent flying instantly. He coughed out a mouthful of blood. Qin Li quickly stepped forward. His eyes stared fiercely at Lao Mingho. Lao Mingho, how do you want to die? Lao Mingho knelt down with a thump.
Qin Li, Spare me.
I will leave immediately. I promise never to appear in front of you again. Dad, I'm spitting blood from being beaten by you. Just treat me as a bug and let me go. Listen to Lao Mingho begging for mercy.
Fine.
Then you can leave. Don't show up again in the future. Lao Mingho turned around to leave. Suddenly drew out the sharp knife from his waist.
Qin Li, D.
Qin Li dodged the incoming sharp knife with a swift move. I let you go the first 2 times. Who would have thought you wouldn't repent? Then it's not my fault. Qin Li quickly pulled out a silver acupuncture needle from his clothes and ruthlessly stabbed it towards Lao Mingho's crotch. A needle pierced through both testicles. Lao Mingho immediately vomited white foam and fell unconscious to the ground. When Pingyin woke up, he saw that his clothes had been removed in front of him. He suddenly sat up violently. A slap fiercely landed on Qin Li's face. You are a despicable creature compared to a beast. Qin Li was stunned by the slap. Looking at Pingyin, he asked, Why did you hit me? I just saved you a moment ago. Save me? Chu Pingyin shouted angrily. Even a child wouldn't believe your words. You actually used force on me. And after that, you pretended that you saved me. How despicable and shameless you are. Listening to Pingyin's words, Qin Li silently stood up and walked towards the door. I didn't use force on you. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. After saying that, he closed the door. Inside the room, Chu Pingyin was on the verge of collapsing. Qin Li, you bastard. I really misjudged you. Just when Pingyin was heartbroken, but was attracted by the sound of swoosh, swoosh coming from the room, Qin Li walked out of the hotel. Feeling frustrated by the misunderstanding of Pinyin, he sat alone by the street. Just then, his phone rang. A familiar female voice came through. Is this Qin legendary physician? It was Lu Wan. What's the matter so late? At this time, Lu Wan is doing her nails. Do you still have the traditional Chinese medicine ointment I used last time? I'd like to buy another batch. It would be even better if you could add a skin whitening effect to it. Qin Li was thrilled to hear about a big deal coming. She immediately felt much better. No problem at all. Sister Lu Wan, how much do you need? I'll go back and prepare the materials right away. Let's start with 200 units first. I will transfer 2 million yuan to your account shortly. My cousin told me that you were planning to open a medical clinic. The rest can be considered as my investment in your clinic. Thank you, Sister Lu Wan. Qin Li immediately felt better after receiving the 2 million yuan. He turned around and headed towards home. At home, Pingyin sat alone on the sofa. Why hasn't he come back so late? Could it be because he got angry at me for misunderstanding him today? After Qin Li left, Pingyin realized from the video content that he had completely misunderstood Qin Li. Just as Pingyin was anxiously waiting, Qin Li walked in. Why did you come back so late? Qin Li stopped in his tracks. I want to take care of some matters. Using fingers to twirl around the hair. Today, I originally wanted to greet Qin Li. I don't know why I just couldn't speak. What's wrong with you today? Something seems off. Suddenly feeling very wronged. I might be fired by the company. It's because of what happened with Lu Wan before. The company leaders have talked to me several times. They are still worried that Lu Wan will come to the company and cause trouble. They want to fire me. Qin Li thought it was something else. He seemed indifferent. Even if you really resign, it's okay. Pingyin was suddenly annoyed. It's okay. If I lose my job, how will this household be supported? Besides, the job market is very competitive now, and it's not easy to find a suitable job. Qin Li walked slowly to the front of the sofa and sat down. She poured herself a cup of tea. Do you remember Mayor Lu? Later, I cured his child again. To thank me, he promised to help me open a clinic. In addition, I also made some money from treating patients before. If you really do get fired, come help me run the clinic.
ZHN Shibei Zen JNG Le. Mayor Liu Yao Gatakai Iguan. Qin Li Zun Xin Shang Le Leu.
Hai Yao Iduan Shijian Iguan Signing K. Ni Xian Xiang Xiang.
Xing Au Le Zedafu W.
Wawanang Nang Shernyan.
Qin Li Zeng Yu Zai Pingyin Mianqianyu Di Kile Y.
The next morning, early in the morning, the Chu family was greeted by the sound of knocking on the door. Qin Li groggily went to open the door. But as soon as the door was opened and she took a look, her face immediately changed color. The woman in front of you is named Tans Kim, who is a college classmate of Qin Li and Pingyin, and even more so, a good friend of Pingyin. During college, Qin Li was often teased by Tans Kim. The worst time was when chili powder was sprinkled in his pants crotch. Qin Li still dare not recall that taste to this day. What is Qin Li still foolishly standing there for? Hurry up and let me in. This young lady. I really don't know why Pinyin married you. It's like a beautiful flower planted in cow dung. As she spoke, she kept poking Qin Li with her slender index finger. The two girlfriends went on a trip. Qin Li took on the role of a full-time driver. On the road, Pingyin asked Tans Kim many times where they were going. But Tans Kim kept teasing, saying they would find out when they arrived. You'll find out soon. The three people quickly arrived at the tallest building in Yangcheng City. It turns out there is a high-end jade stone gambling auction here today. Tan Kim took out the invitation letter. With Pingyin and Qin Li, they arrived at the top-floor auction house. Upon entering the gate, they saw that the hall was crowded with many people. Tan Kim energetically started introducing. This is the most exciting gamble on Jade Stone's auction house. After bidding, the stones are opened on the spot. With one cut, you either make a fortune and go to heaven, or suffer heavy losses and go to hell. Tan Kim said, never forgetting to encourage Qin Li. Since you are here, why not buy a piece of stone to give to Pingyin as well? If Pingyin likes it, I will naturally buy it for him. Tan Kim chuckled and showed a disdainful look. Turning around and taking Pingyin to see the auction in front, Qin Li has no interest in gambling on jade stones at all, feeling bored to the point of yawning repeatedly. Just then, Qin Li suddenly felt a slight fluctuation in the mystic power within her body. Qin Li turned around and looked towards the junkyard in front of her. She noticed that some stones inside were emitting waves of mystic power. Surprisingly, it resonated with the mystic power within her own body. Qin Li stepped forward and asked the waiter how much this stone costs. The waiter replied, "These are all discarded scraps. We sell them for a fixed price of 100 yuan, regardless of size or weight." Qin Li searched his pocket for a long time and took out two 100 yuan bills. Picked up the two stones that had previously sensed mystic power. Just these two. Help me to cut this one first. On the other side, the troublemaker Tan Kim is instigating Pingyin, pointing to the auction stone on the big screen. Pingyin, tell Qin Li later that you want this raw stone. Let's see if Qin Li will buy it. If he doesn't buy it, then Tan Kim had an evil smile on his face. He made a clean and quick throat-slitting gesture with his hand. They turned around only to find that Qin Li had already disappeared. They took a stroll and finally found Qin Li wandering in the scrapyard. He still looks poor, just like before. Surprisingly, he even told me that he plans to open a medical clinic. Afterwards, Tan Kim pulled Pingyin to the front. Pointing at Qin Li's mouth, he shouted, "Qin Li, you actually bought broken waste materials for 100 yuan each to deceive Pingyin?" But before she could finish speaking, suddenly, the waiter's cry rang in their ears. It turned out to be a completely green light. What? Tan Kim and Pingyin were shocked instantly. People around were also awakened by the yelling. They all came over in an instant. A few minutes ago, Qin Li bought some scrap material for 200 yuan. Unexpectedly, it revealed jade stones filled with lush green. Instantly, it became the highlight of the auction. "Hey handsome, sell this stone to sister for 300,000, and there will be a gift in return. I'll offer 800,000, 1 million. People around are going crazy bidding. Suddenly, a voice behind said, 5 million. This stone is worth at least 5 million. A middle-aged man with small glasses directly raised the price to 5 million. It immediately elicited a sigh from the surrounding area. Who is this? This is the influential figure in the jade world of Yangcheng City, Sir Tan's. Sir Tan smiled and looked at the young man, Qin Li. I will offer 5 million yuan for this stone. Will you sell it to me? Qin Li looked puzzled and handed the stone to Pingyin. This is a present I bought to give to Pingyin. Just ask her opinion. Tan Kim, standing nearby, looked at it with loving eyes. This is the first time I've seen such high-quality jade. Dad, you're really willing to spend money. So, sir, Tan is Tan Kim's father. Pingyin had a big smile on his face. Of course, beautiful jade should be given to someone who loves jade, so it won't be wasted. Uncle Tan is the king of jade in Yangcheng City. It's an honor for the younger generation to have attracted your attention. Sir Tan listened to Pingyin's words and burst into laughter. Pingyin is still so eloquent. It's decided then. I'll have someone deliver the check right away. Sir Tan turned to the young man Qin Li. Can you help me take a look at the stone I just bought? Everyone looked at the stone in Sir Tan's hand. Envy arose at once. Wow, green is already faintly visible. Is there still a need to look? It must be a priceless piece of beautiful jade. Qin Li just glanced casually. It's just a common stone. There is nothing special about it. Qin Li had just finished speaking when mocking voices suddenly sounded all around. Even Pingyin on the side expressed doubt. This stone that Qin Li chose carefully from the auction house is the highest priced item in today's auction. Whether it's good or bad will be revealed once it's cut open. Sir, Tan's handed the stone over to the staff to cut it open. Tan Kim is full of confidence in his father. Someone became arrogant after gambling on jade stones for the first time. You're just a blind cat stumbling upon a dead mouse. You're just lucky. My dad has always picked good stones. When has he ever been wrong? You just wait to make a fool of yourself. Just as Tan Kim finished speaking, the staff then brought up the untied raw stone. Apart from a little emerald green on the outside, It was all stone inside. How is this possible? My dad has never been wrong. Sir, Tans burst out laughing. I was right after all. Young man, there is a lack of a manager in charge of appraisal at my Tan's family store. Are you interested in giving it a try? Qin Li was about to refuse, but Sir, Tans stopped him. It's okay. Tell me next time we meet. With that, he took Tan's Kim and left in a hurry. On the way home, when did Qin Li learn how to gamble on jade stones with Ping Yi? Learned it from reading books. Not difficult. If you want to learn, I can teach you as well. Qin Li handed the check to Ping Yi, but Ping Yi didn't want to take the check and just tossed it away. Asked Qin Li if he had been deceiving her. Qin Li scratched his head. Ping Yi, I really didn't deceive you. Even though I know you wanted to marry me just to help out at home. But I am still very happy. And in my heart, I have always thought of you as my wife. Faced with Qin Li's confession, Ping Yi suddenly became at a loss. Qin Li, why are you suddenly saying these things? Qin Li quickly changed the subject. By the way, the clinic will be opening tomorrow. You should come take a look then. What? I always thought you were joking. Healing the sick and saving lives is not that simple. Qin Li looks indifferent. It's just treating some minor illnesses. Nothing will go wrong. Ping Yi appears calm on the surface. But if something goes wrong, but no one will go to jail for you. But unknowingly, she started to worry about Qin Li in her heart. The next day, Qin Li's clinic had a grand reopening. Relatives of the Chu family also came to congratulate. Ping Yi's paternal aunt had a mocking expression on her face. The Chu family got such a good son-in-law. When will Qin Li see a doctor? I didn't know. On the side, the paternal uncle chimed in with jealousy. Exactly. Do you have a medical license? Don't go deceiving others. Because Qin Li repeatedly helped the Chu family save face, the father-in-law has started to see Qin Li in a new light. My son-in-law is truly hiding his talents. Recently, he successively saved Mayor Lu's father and son. Mayor Lu wanted to show his gratitude and insisted on giving a medical clinic. We couldn't refuse either. After the last family banquet incident, Chungwon is full of hatred towards Qin Li. Chungwon looked at Qin Li maliciously and said, Qin Li, you really dare to open a medical clinic. You are really asking for trouble. Qin Li remained indifferent and said, Oh, I really didn't know that opening a medical clinic would be considered asking for trouble. Hee, don't forget that your clinic falls under my jurisdiction. Last time you embarrassed me. Just because you've befriended Mayor Lu doesn't mean everything will be smooth sailing. You should know, important people have short memories. Before Chungwon could finish speaking, two figures appeared at the door. It was Mayor Lu and Lu Wan, both holding gifts. Evidently, they had come to congratulate Qin Li. Paternal aunt and paternal uncle looked surprised. Chungwon's expression looked even worse. Last banquet he toasted Qin Li. This time he offered congratulations for the grand opening. What exactly is the relationship between Qin Li and Mayor Lu? Ping Yi beside closed the medical book. Weren't you just mocking a moment ago? Why are you silent now? Just then, there was a cry for help outside the medical center. A middle-aged man knelt outside the medical center, holding a child who looked to be in pain. Qin Li pushed aside the onlookers. Please move aside. I am a doctor. The child is foaming at the mouth, and their whole face has turned purple from distress. The father-in-law and mother-in-law who rushed over quickly urged Qin Li to send the child to the hospital as the child's illness is serious and beyond what Qin Li can treat. The paternal aunt and Chungwon, who were hiding in the crowd watching the excitement, had a smug look on their faces. It seems that they are going to close shortly after opening. There is no turning back now. If there are any issues with the treatment later, haha, they deserve it. Let's see how they end up. Qin Li stepped forward to check on the child. It was discovered that the child's condition was already very critical. Quickly, hurry and carry the child inside. Inside the clinic, Qin Li activate the cultivation method. Mystic power moves through the child's body like a swift snake. Quickly identified the cause of the child's illness. Your son is poisoned. What did you give him to eat? It's not possible. Usually, the neighbor helps take care of him. He has always been fine. Soon the man burst into tears. My wife passed away early. I need to earn money to support the family. There is no other way. I can only leave my child with the neighbor. Please, you must save my child. At that moment, a loud shout suddenly came from the crowd. I heard that this doctor had just obtained his medical license a few days ago. He dares to open a clinic and treat people on his own. What? He just got his medical license. Isn't he out to deceive people? How dare he pretend to be an expert and treat people? The people around were immediately very excited. Hurry and take the child to the hospital. Don't delay the child's treatment. The poor clinic. It should close soon. Looking at the noisy crowd, the paternal aunt and Chungwon looked smug, while Ping Yin's face was also filled with worry. Pay attention. These people are very excited. They are denouncing the quack doctor. A few minutes ago, a middle-aged man arrived at Qin Li's clinic carrying a seriously ill child, begging Qin Li to help treat the child. You should have said earlier if you can't treat it. Isn't this harming my child? The man roared. Seeing the man about to take the child away to the hospital, Qin Li quickly blocked him. Now the child is in extreme danger. Can't delay any longer. Just then, the child suddenly started coughing violently. Soon, he coughed up a mouthful of blood. Qin Li lifted the sheet. Inject mystic power into the silver acupuncture needles. Quickly insert the silver acupuncture needles into the child's acupoints. The child's face immediately filled with pain. Suddenly, they sat up and vomited out the food in their stomach. Afterwards, their consciousness quickly returned. Dad, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I want to eat fried chicken. I want to eat fried chicken. The man hugged the child tightly and cried bitterly. Okay, let's go buy it now. Let's go buy it now. Qin Li put the silver acupuncture needles back into the medicine box as she said, the child is fine now. If you're still worried, you can go to the hospital for a checkup. The man cried and knelt down on the ground, saying, You are truly a legendary physician. Thank you so much for saving my son. Looking at the child who has been saved, the crowd that was originally filled with excitement suddenly burst into applause. I thought it was a scam. I didn't expect that he really is a legendary physician. Outside the medical clinic, the old man who incited the crowd inside the medical clinic earlier slowly walked towards a secluded alley. Lao Mingho's face was full of unwillingness. Clearly, the child was given so much pesticide to drink. Qin Li actually managed to save the child. That's infuriating. Not only did they not sabotage the opening celebration of the clinic, but they also allowed Qin Li to easily gain a reputation. It turns out that all of this was planned by Lao Mingho. The old man rubbed his white beard. Master Lao, don't be in a hurry. Let him be arrogant for a little longer. Because Qin Li miraculously cured the little boy, patients from all around came in droves. By the time he finished seeing the last patient who couldn't conceive, it was already late at night. Qin Li dragged his exhausted body to lock the door before heading home. Suddenly, rustling sounds came from the small woods behind him. A woman walked out holding a dagger. She was covered in wounds, and blood dripped down from the dagger. Are you here for treatment? Before Qin Li could finish his sentence, the woman suddenly rushed towards Qin Li with the dagger in her hand. Wait a minute. I am the doctor here. Qin Li was about to explain. The woman suddenly fell to the ground with a thud. She fainted directly. Qin Li scratched his head helplessly. Looks like I have to work overtime all night tonight. Qin Li carried the woman to the hospital bed, picked up the phone and dialed Ping Yin's number. Ping Yin, who was wearing pajamas, was lazily lying in bed. Seeing Qin Li's call coming in, she picked up the phone. Qin Li's voice came through the phone. I'm currently treating a patient with a difficult condition. Ping Yin hurriedly asked, Are you not coming back tonight? All right, you don't have to wait for me. I'll just sleep at the clinic tonight. Ping Yin immediately felt a little angry. Then you should just live in the clinic for the rest of your life.
Thinky Qin Li.
Qin Li sighed helplessly as she looked at the hung-up phone. Because the woman's injury was quite serious, Qin Li didn't dare delay. She quickly prepared the medication and instruments. But when he saw the tag hanging from the woman's neck,
Qin Li suddenly froze.
Military Intelligence Section 19. Members of Section 19. How can they be here? Early the next morning, the woman woke up from a nightmare. Qin Li is preparing medicinal herbs. Gently said. You finally woke up? It was you who saved me. Qin Li poured the finely ground medicine powder onto the wrapping paper. If I had met you a few minutes later in the evening, I would have been powerless too. The woman suddenly sat up. Limping, she walked towards the door. Where are you planning to go? Perhaps the movement pulled on her wound. The woman was in so much pain that her whole body started shaking. I have no home. I don't know where to go either. Recently, I happen to need an assistant here. If you are willing, please stay. Qin Li slowly walked towards the window. He pulled open the curtains. The morning sun suddenly shone in, diffracting into a colorful halo. The woman suddenly turned her head. Is it true? Qin Li is looking at the scenery outside the window. You will be paid 5,000 yuan salary every month. Although it's not much, you can live in the clinic. How about it? The woman looks at Qin Li. You saved me. My life is yours. If there is anywhere I can be of use, even if it's a perilous situation, I will surely accomplish it. All right, you should go heal first. Qin Li walked towards the door. Just as he was about to push it, the door suddenly was forcefully pushed open from outside by someone. The door slammed hard on Qin Li's head. Tans Kim rushed in, shouting loudly.
Qin Li.
Tans Kim, you're causing trouble early in the morning. Are you sick? Qin Li touched his sore head from being hit. thinking that encountering this woman never leads to anything good. You're the one who's sick. I'm here to invite you to represent Tanji store in the Jade competition. Jade competition. Qin Li looked puzzled. Before Qin Li could figure out the situation, Tan's Kim pulled Qin Li out. Where are you taking me? Tan's Kim's queen-like temperament flared. Shut up. You'll know when we get there. Zhangqing Gamble on Jade Stones is the largest gamble on Jade Stones venue in the entire Yue province. Qin Li was forcibly dragged here by Tan's Kim. Sir, Tan's has been waiting here for Qin Li for a long time. Qin, finally you are here, little friend.
Qin Li au quarli smilat.
Excuse me, sir, Tan's, for keeping you waiting for so long. But sir, Tan stroked his beard. Little friend Qin, don't be polite. This gambling competition on Jade Stones will be even more troublesome for little friend Qin this time. Qin Li was stunned as soon as he heard it. Could it be that Sir Tan's wants me to be his advisor? Sir Tan's chuckled. I have seen little Qin's abilities with my own eyes. Please help out a lot later. Then, Sir Tan's introduced the rules of the Jade Stone competition to Qin Li. The Jade Stone competition consists of 2 stages, gamble on Jade Stones and carving. After the Jade Stones turn green, they will be auctioned on the spot. The highest bidder will be the champion. You and these 3 are the experts I carefully selected for the gamble on Jade Stones part. I entrust this aspect to you 4. On the side, Tan's Kim interrupted. My dad spent a lot of money for me to participate in this competition. Qin Li, if you can get in the top 3, your reward won't be small. Mr. Tan's patted Qin Li's arm. Kim is right. If little Qin can help Tan's shop win the championship, I can also offer an additional 10% of shares to little Qin. Qin Li looked hesitant. Not interested in gambling on Jade Stones, he wanted to refuse. But little devil Tan's Kim won't let him go. I am Pingin's best friend. If you don't participate, I can't guarantee that he won't say something bad. Qin Li, who was pinched at the vital point, finally had to agree to come down. Sir, Tan's and Tan's Kim left. After Sir, Tan's and Tan's Kim left, only Qin Li and the 4 of them were left in the square. The other 3 clearly looked down on the young Qin Li, mocking, so young. Do you really want to gamble on Jade Stones? The man smoking a pipe. He even threw a bank card with only 1,000 yuan on it to Qin Li and went to see stones elsewhere with 2 other people. Qin Li is holding a bank card with 1,000 yuan on it. Helplessly, he can only try his luck in the outer area of the waste disposal site gambling on Jade Stones. Just as Qin Li had been walking around for a long time. Finally, a piece of stone resonated with the mystic power inside Qin Li. Qin Li walked up to the stone. Hello, sir. Are you going to buy raw stone? At this moment, the trio bought the 2 most expensive stones at the Gamble on Jade Stones event for 5 million. They excitedly pushed them towards the area for cutting. Sir, the beautiful waitress asked again. Yes, please. Qin Li regained consciousness and quickly selected the stones that resonated with him before. Then he took out the pure gold bank card. Although there was only 1,000 yuan in the card, fortunately, the card itself was made of pure gold. This would be more than enough to buy this raw stone in cash. After buying the raw stone, Qin Li also arrived at the stone-cutting area. The 3 members of the team looked at Qin Li as he appeared and sarcastically said, Mr. Qin, did you buy some good stones? Can you win a prize? Hopefully you didn't buy a brick. Ha ha ha. Mr. Su even warned up close, kid, although the position of the manager of Tanji shop is a piece of fat meat, but it's not something that anyone can just eat. If you see the situation clearly, you should hurry up and leave. Qin Li looked disdainful. I never wanted to be the manager of Tanji store anyway. As for whether the stone can win a prize, we'll find out once we cut it open later. Just at this moment, Sir Tan's walked over from a distance. Mr. Su saw the investor Sir Tan's arriving and hurried forward to show off. Sir Tan's was reassured. This time Tanji's store name will definitely make an impression. We bought the 2 best raw stones on the entire site. Ensure to enter the top 3 in the competition. Sir, Tan's carefully examined 2 pieces of raw stone. He nodded in satisfaction. These 2 pieces look good on the outside. A little bit of skin has been peeled off, revealing a large area of green. The quality should be good. Just then, a strange and eerie voice suddenly sounded. Oh, if it isn't Mr. Tan's. A short man with a big belly walked over, holding a sexy beauty. Behind him followed a group of attendants wearing suits and sunglasses. He also held several pieces of raw stone with excellent quality in his hands. Sir Tan saw Boss Manny's face instantly darken. The 2 of them have clashed many times because of gambling on Jade Stones. However, Sir Tan's shop always ends up losing more and winning less. It seems that Sir Tan's shop is really in trouble. They even resorted to using new people to make up the numbers. Take advantage of the fact that the competition has not officially started yet. I advise you to get lost quickly. At least won't embarrass oneself on stage. After speaking, this person left with a hint of arrogance. Sir, Tans was angry, but still managed to restrain oneself. Mr. Su on the side made even greater efforts to perform. Don't worry, leave it to me, Mr. Su. I will definitely suppress that guy. In just a moment, a youthful and sexy blonde girl walked onto the stage and announced that the competition is about to begin. Sir, Tans looked at Qin Li. Qin, little friend, where are the stones you bought? Qin Li immediately opened the brocade box containing the raw stone priced at 20,000. The 3 members of the team burst into laughter immediately. Are you a lunatic? You dare to bring out worthless scrap valued at 20,000. Sir, Tans's originally unpleasant expression suddenly turned even uglier. This price can only buy scrap materials. I sighed inwardly. It's also my fault for misjudging the situation. It seems that Qin Li is still too young. Just then, the MC on stage exclaimed, "Oh my God!" The first contestant actually produced 2 pieces of old pit glass seedlings. One of them is even an imperial-level green jade. It's really so beautiful. The audience below suddenly boiled over. They shouted out prices one after another in a rush. Listening to the crazy bidding, Mr. Su and the others were stunned. They never expected the first contestant to have such good luck, actually bidding such a high price. The intense competition quickly reached its end. The host announced the top 3 rankings. They are 42 million, 52 million, and 63 million respectively. Next, please welcome the last contestant, Tan from Jiship Jewelry Store, to the stage. Mr. Su came to the stone cutting area with a serious expression, pushing the 2 raw stones he bought for 5 million. Mr. Su, who cut the stone himself, prayed in his heart that this piece must be green. But the first raw stone turned out to be just an ordinary rock. There are people in the audience who seem to take pleasure in others' misfortune. Several million just wasted like this. Soon, the second raw stone was brought up for processing. But no miracle happened. The second piece still revealed a white stone. The trio immediately looked astonished. Mocking laughter could also be heard from the audience. Sir Tans's face turned extremely ugly. Sweat dripped down coldly. Tan's store is finished. At that moment, Qin Li suddenly stood up holding a brocade box. Wait a moment. There is still a piece of stone that Tan's store has not yet cut. The disheartened Sir Tans hurriedly tried to stop Qin Li. Qin Li, stop. Don't embarrass yourself anymore. Qin Li, however, went directly to the stage. He activated the machine to break down the raw stone. The rapidly spinning blades made contact with the raw stone, causing sparks to fly. Soon, a fascinating green light appeared before everyone. The beautiful female host immediately widened her eyes. It's imperial-level green jade. Such an insignificant piece of waste material actually yielded imperial-level green jade. Suddenly, the whole venue was filled with a commotion. The trio was extremely frustrated. It's sigh-worthy how lucky Qin Li is. The originally disheartened Sir Tans finally has hope. Although Qin Li revealed an imperial-level green jade. But alas, the stone was too small. Its value is only around 30 million yuan. It's impossible to compete for a top 3 position in the competition at all. But in any case, Tanji's shop has managed to maintain its reputation. But at this moment, Qin Li on the stage made a move that took everyone by surprise. Surprisingly, he started cutting the imperial-level green jade that was just revealed. The host was so shocked that he screamed, "Oh my God! Seat it, sir." Tans ran forward wanting to stop Qin Li. Suddenly, a dazzling red light exploded. Sir, Tans's face was filled with shock. This is a treasure among treasures. Unbelievably, there is actually a piece of blood-red jade wrapped inside the jadeite. You should know that the last time blood-red jade appeared was 10 years ago. At that time, it was sold for a sky-high price of 1 billion yuan. As soon as this was said, the entire audience erupted. Qin Li took out a humanoid blood-red jade from the imperial-level green jade. This is the jade selected by Tanji shop. The host exclaimed loudly, "Oh my God! This is a rare jade within jade. And it is a natural blood-red jade that may take thousands of years to form." Surprisingly, it is distinctly different from the imperial-level green jade in appearance. There is not a trace of impurity. The bidding area has exploded with excitement. People are showing their bids one after another. 90 million yuan. I bid 100 million yuan. I am determined to win this piece of jade. I bid 120 million yuan. On the VIP auction stage, a young man suddenly stood up with a look of surprise on his face. He unexpectedly revealed a rare blood-red jade. At this moment, the elderly man behind him suddenly started coughing violently, his face pale with shock. The man quickly turned around. "Grandpa, it seems like your illness is getting worse." The old man waved his hand and sighed, saying, As people grow old, their bodies become weaker. I don't know if I will live to see another year. Before the old man could finish speaking, he started coughing violently again. The handkerchief was clearly stained with blood. At the same time, the auction of jade and precious stones downstairs has ended. Tanji's shop's jade was eventually sold for a sky-high price of 2 billion yuan. The host invited Qin Li and Sir Tans to the stage to receive the award. The audience below were also full of emotion and sentiment. Participating in this competition is truly an eye-opening experience. The transaction price of 2 billion yuan is bound to become a legend. After receiving the award, Sir Tans bowed to Qin Li in thanks. At the same time, he expressed his willingness to donate the 2 billion yuan from the auction of the blood-red jade to Qin Li. Qin Li waved her hand, indicating a desire to decline. The nearby little demon Tans Kim unexpectedly showed Qin Li a good complexion. Oh my, Qin Li, you don't have to decline. You are now an important figure in our Tanji shop. This competition has established the reputation of Tanji shop. Tanji shop can now make a name in Hua province. Faced with the difficult father and daughter duo, Qin Li finally had to accept. Just then, a group of people dressed in black suddenly appeared behind the three of them. The leader, a burly man, took out an invitation. Hello, Mr. Qin. The organizer of this competition, Master Jiang Zhan, sincerely invites you to visit the Jiang family as a guest. Please do honor us with your presence. Qin Li accepted the invitation and went to visit the Jiang family. Arrived at the Jiang family, after bypassing layers of guards, Qin Li finally met the young master of the Jiang family, Jiang Zhan. Mr. Qin, we have been looking forward to your arrival. Please come in. In the room, besides Jiang Zhan, there is also his grandfather, Sir Jiang. Jiang Zhan politely invites Qin Li to take a seat and compliments. Mr. Qin, your performance today is truly amazing. It has really broadened my horizons. Qin Li smiled and said, Mr. Jiang, you are too kind. I'm not sure why Mr. Jiang asked me to come here. What can I help with? Jiang Zhan poured tea for Qin Li. Actually, it's nothing serious. It's just out of curiosity. After Mr. Qin cut the imperial-level green jade, he decisively made a second cut. Did Mr. Qin already know that there was blood-red jade inside from the beginning? Qin Li took a sip of tea. Actually, when I got the jade, I felt a strange warmth. Out of curiosity, I tried cutting it again to see. Oh? So that's how it is. Jiang Zhan stood up. Mr. Qin is truly talented. I would like to ask Mr. Qin to help me find another piece of blood-red jade. Would you be willing, Mr. Qin? Just then, Sir Jiang behind Jiang Zhan suddenly started coughing violently. Qin Li turned around and looked over, only to see Sir Jiang looking ashen-faced, clearly seriously ill. Sir Jiang, your condition is very serious. If not treated promptly, I'm afraid your life may not last much longer. Sir Jiang showed a slight smile. Unexpectedly, Mr. Qin, in addition to having superb skills in gambling on jade stones, is also proficient in medicine. Qin Li slowly walked towards Sir Jiang. Speaking frankly, my main profession is running a medical clinic. If you don't mind, may I help you diagnose the meridians by feeling your pulse? Jiang Zhan was surprised when he heard Qin Li. Qin Li is still young and practicing traditional Chinese medicine. After all, traditional Chinese medicine is different from Western medicine. The medical skills in traditional Chinese medicine often improve with age and experience. Sir Jiang extended his arm. Then I'll trouble you, Mr. Qin. Qin Li activated the cultivation method. The mystic power circulates through the 8 extraordinary meridians of Sir Jiang's body. The malefic energy is very heavy, and it is fast approaching the point where it will devour the spirit. Qin Li stirs up the mystic power throughout the body. Use the mystic power to form a pattern with magical power to dispel the malefic energy on Sir Jiang's body. Soon after, Sir Jiang's complexion regained its healthy color. His entire person also recovered his spirit and vitality. Qin Li let out a long breath. The malefic energy within Sir Jiang has already been dispersed by me. However, in order to prevent a recurrence, we still need to find the source of the malefic energy. Jiang Zhan leaned over to check on Sir Jiang's condition. Indeed, as Qin Li said, he is much better now. My grandfather has always been under my care. He rarely goes out even. How could he have been affected by malefic energy? Qin Li asked. Has Sir Jiang recently come into contact with any new valuable items? Jiang Zhan suddenly reacted. There is a jade pillow. Grandfather loved it at first sight and kept it. Soon the jade pillow was brought over. Qin Li looked at the jade pillow. He concluded that this thing might have been taken out of a tomb containing malevolent energy. Prolonged contact could be fatal. After Qin Li said that, Sir Jiang finally realized it. No wonder whenever I sleep on it, I always feel cold all over. Jiang Zhan quickly expressed his gratitude to Qin Li. My grandfather's illness can be cured. Thanks to Mr. Qin, The Jiang family can agree to a request from Mr. Qin. As long as the Jiang family can do it, anything is possible. Mr. Jiang is too polite. Healing and saving people is the duty of a doctor. I can agree to the matter of finding the blood red jade. There are 2 people who want to ask Mr. Jiang for help in finding it. Qin Li took out a photo from the bag. These 2 people are my parents. They have been missing for 10 years. There has been no news. Zhang Zhan took the photo. Although 10 years is a bit long, please give the Jiang family some time, Mr. Qin. I believe we will not disappoint Mr. Qin. Later, Zhang Zhan took out a gold card. There are 200 million yuan in it. Consider this as the startup funds for Mr. Qin to find the blood red jade. Once found, my family will have further gratitude. Okay, after finding the blood red jade, I will contact Mr. Jiang again. After speaking, Qin Li turned and left the Jiang family. Zhang Zhan watched Qin Li's figure moving away in the distance. He muttered to himself, whether the Jiang family can regain its former glory depends on this one opportunity. The next day, Qin Li arrived at the clinic early. Just as he was about to open for consultations, a man's voice came from behind him, saying, "Dr. Qin, you're finally here." Qin Li turned around and saw an old man leaning on a cane. "Dr. Qin, my head has been hurting a lot recently. Could you please help me take a look?" Just as Qin Li was about to invite the old man into the clinic, suddenly, a burst of loudspeaker shouting could be heard from across the street. Tong's traditional Chinese medicine clinic is opening today. The Tong family, a prestigious medical family, with the current head Tong Bo Wei, a legendary physician, will personally see patients today. Opportunity knocks but once. We guarantee healing once the medicine arrives. Skilled hands bring back spring. The elderly person who was originally going to enter the clinic suddenly turned around. Is it Dr. Tong, the most famous doctor in Yangcheng City? Exactly. The elderly gentleman. We have inherited the medical skills for a century. It's not something those miscellaneous clinics can compare with. The elderly rushed to the opposite side to seek medical treatment. The man became even more brazen, accusing Qin Li of selling counterfeit drugs at the clinic opposite. They've been on the run for several days. Didn't expect them to be so bold. They showed up again today. Qin Li was suddenly enraged. How dare you slander me in front of my face? Are you looking for death? What are you competing with an apprentice for? An old man walked slowly out of the medical hall. As a doctor, how come you lack even that much broad-mindedness? The visitor is Tong Bo Wei, the owner of Tong's traditional Chinese medicine hall. Tong Bo Wei gave Qin Li a cold snort. Young people these days really don't know the immensity of the heavens and the earth, having no real ability yet daring to see patients. After speaking, he turned around and looked at the elderly person seeking medical treatment.
Come.
Let me take a look. The elderly person realized that he was really a doctor. He suddenly felt a bit happy. Then I'll trouble Tong, the legendary physician. The old man took off his hat, revealing a head full of pus-filled bumps. I'm not sure what illness this is. Can the legendary physician treat it? Tong Bo Wei's face darkened as soon as he saw it. He had been practicing medicine for decades and had never encountered such a strange illness. But now, he couldn't lose face in front of Qin Li. Tong Bo Wei forced a dry laugh twice. It's simple. Just need to pop these boils and clean them thoroughly. After speaking, he took out silver acupuncture needles. Qin Li on the side quickly intervened. Wait. The boils on this old man's head need to be treated with fire-heated needles. Otherwise, there may be a risk to his life. Tong Bo Wei got very angry. See, it's my turn to see the doctor. Why is a young man coming in to teach? Qin Li wanted to stop him, but Tong Bo Wei had already punctured the abscess with a needle. Just heard a loud scream. The old man collapsed to the ground all of a sudden, rolled in agony all over his body. Tong Bo Wei was stunned immediately. What is going on here? Qin Li saw that the old man's life was hanging by a thread and rushed over immediately. Tong Bo Wei tried to stop him, but he was knocked down by Qin Li with a punch. You, someone who lacks respect for life, are not qualified to be a doctor. Qin Li is using his martial arts skills. Quickly insert the silver acupuncture needles into the elderly person's Bai Hui acupoint. Qin Li immediately felt something was wrong after the needles were inserted. The elderly person's heart has been affected by the cold energy due to the incorrect needle technique used by Tong Bo Wei. Qin Li had no choice but to increase the infusion of mystic power, casting the third level of the Fu Shi needle skill to use the fiery formation to help the elderly. After a while, the elderly person finally regained consciousness. Qin Li turned to look at Tong Bo and said, "You are truly humiliating traditional Chinese medicine." Tong Bo became anxious. "You brat, do you dare to compete with me?" Qin Li's eyes were filled with an unprecedented fighting spirit. Oh, what is the content of the competition? Tong Bo Wei is looking at Qin Li. It's a competition to rescue people. Whoever makes a mistake first will forever leave the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Have you ever seen such a charming patient? She said her chest feels swollen and she feels dizzy and lightheaded. The news about the bet between Qin Li and Tong Bo-wei spread like wildfire. Many patients heard the news and rushed to come. Soon, both medical clinics had long lines forming outside. The two doctors saw patients continuously from morning until night. Tong Bo-wei's spirit is starting to wane a bit. Listening to the waves of gratitude from the crowd opposite, Tong Bo-wei couldn't help but sigh in admiration. What a talented young man. He has not made a single mistake all day. I have been practicing medicine for over 30 years before reaching this level of skill. If it continues like this, I'm afraid I will lose. It's time to figure out a solution. Tong Bo-wei suddenly gave a wink to the enchanting woman beside him. The other party understood and walked towards the opposite medical hall. Inside the medical hall, the previous patient just got up and left. A sexy woman sat down in the chair in an instant, causing a stir among the male patients in the medical hall. Qin, legendary physician, I have been feeling dizzy and lightheaded recently. My chest feels swollen. Can you help me figure out what illness I have? Oh no, I feel really unwell. Please help me check. The woman grabbed Qin Li's hand and tried to press it against her chest. Qin Li quickly withdrew his hand. Don't worry. Let me check your pulse first. Qin Li placed his fingers on the woman's pulse. Strange. Her pulse is fine with all 5 internal organs, beating steadily and strongly. It doesn't seem like she is sick at all. Just at that moment, across the street, Tong's traditional Chinese medicine clinic suddenly heard a scream. Tong Bo-wei made a mistake in treating the patient. A man seeking medical treatment collapsed to the ground with his hand clutching his chest. His whole body started to tremble. Froth was coming out of his mouth. Some assistants were busy with rescue efforts. Some hurriedly called the emergency center. Tong Bo-wei's face looked extremely bad. The people who were originally waiting to see a doctor turned and walked in the direction of Qin Li. Let's go, let's go. Tong's traditional Chinese medicine is too unreliable. Let's go to Qin Medical Clinic across the street to see a doctor. The woman looked at the crowd surging in. She suddenly realized that her boss, Tong Bo-wei, had made a mistake. She needed to act quickly too. She suddenly swayed. Oh no, I feel so dizzy. She suddenly collapsed on the ground. The patients around her screamed. They wanted Qin Li to come and take a look at her. At this moment, Tong Bo-wei rushed in with a gloomy expression. Don't be too happy too soon. If you cannot cure this patient, then we'll have to call it even. Listening to Tong Bo-wei's words, Qin Li suddenly understood everything. He stood up calmly. He took out the largest silver acupuncture needles from his bag and thought to himself, since you are playing tricks, then I will accompany you to the end. I need to take a good look at it carefully. If I happen to sew the wrong place, even if I don't die, I will become disabled. Listen to Qin Li's countdown for the needle sewing. The motionless woman suddenly started to tremble. Cold sweat instantly covered the forehead. The body suddenly sat up straight. Dr. Qin, please spare me. I'm not sick. Tong Bo-wei sent me to sabotage the match. He forced me to do it. Please spare me. Qin Li turned to look at Tong Bo-wei. Mr. Tong, you lost. Tong Bo-wei looked full of unwillingness. Qin Li, don't be too proud. I am a famous doctor in Yangqing City. Qin Li looked disdainful. Famous doctor. A famous doctor who uses despicable means to disrupt the fairness of the competition. Qin Li turned around and sneered. You're not even worthy of being a doctor. Qin Li, after finishing the diagnosis, dragged his weary body into the backyard of the clinic. Suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared in front of Qin Li. Does the boss need me to take care of that old man? It turns out to be Qin Li's assistant, Liang Xian. Just then, Qin Li's phone suddenly rang. A very sexy female voice came from the phone. Mr. Qin, hello? I'm entrusted by Master Jiang to give you information about the raw stone supply. A batch of raw stone will arrive in Yangqing City on Monday. I also have something else to discuss with Mr. Qin in person. I wonder if you're interested. Qin Li is feeling doubtful, but still agreed to come. Okay, I will send the time and location to your phone shortly. Looking forward to meeting Mr. Qin. Because we won the match against Tong Bo-wei yesterday, Qin Li is in a good mood. The next day, Qin Li got up early and asked Liang Xian to accompany him for a walk. This will also be beneficial for your recovery from the injury. Thank you for your concern, boss. My body has basically recovered. There shouldn't be any big problems. Actually, there is a task that I need to assign to you today. Go buy a house. Qin Li thought that living with the Chu family is quite nice. But now, there is a deposit of 200 million yuan in hand. Should buy a house by yourself. Qin Medical Clinic is located in the ancient city conservation area. Because Qin Li is usually very busy diagnosing patients, he rarely has the opportunity to stroll around nearby. Suddenly, he looked around excitedly from left to right. Just at that moment, a stall selling antique calligraphy and paintings suddenly caught Qin Li's attention. Qin Li squatted down in front of the stall, picked up a rusty dagger on the stall, and asked the boss, "How much is this dagger?" The boss saw that he wanted to open for business early in the morning. Hastily introduced, "I accidentally dug up this dagger in the ground. If you really want it, I won't ask for much. It's a deal for 500 yuan. Qin Li also did not bargain, paid the money happily. The two of them took the dagger to a remote corner. Liang Xian curiously asked, "Boss, is this really a good thing? We'll find out soon." Qin Li was seen taking out a lighter from his pocket. Activate the cultivation method. Use mystic power to enhance the flame of the lighter. The scorching flame roasts the dagger. Before long, the rust that covered the dagger actually began to drip off with a pitter-patter, revealing the cold gleam of the sharp blade. A faint dragon's roar could be heard, even fainter than a whisper, coming from the flute. Liang Xian's face was full of astonishment. This dagger seems extraordinary.
Qin Li smiled.
You like it? Then it's for you. Really? Thank you, boss. Liang Xian took the dagger with joy. Just then, Qin Li's phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Pingyi. "Hello, Pingyi. What's wrong?" "She looks very scared. Crying," she said. "Qin Li Ziyin. She was taken away by someone." "What?" Qin Li didn't have time to think too much. Quickly took out a gold card from the pocket and handed it to Liang Xian's family had an accident. "I have to go back. I'll leave the house purchase to you. The password for the bank card is 6/8. I trust your judgment." After saying that, he hurriedly ran away. Racing track on the outskirts of the city. It's usually a place where a group of delinquent boys and girls gather to race cars. At this moment, Chu Ziyin is tied up. There are many bruises on his face. A long-haired thug is grabbing Ziyin's hair. "Chu Ziyin, you little slut. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. You insist on pretending to be innocent. If you had obediently obeyed me, you wouldn't have ended up like this. Now, I not only want your body, but also the Chu family's property." Chu Ziyin is trembling with anger. "Fang Yao, you shameless bastard." Suddenly, a piercing brake sound rang out. A speeding car stopped in front of Fang Yao and his gang. Qin Li opened the car door and stepped out slowly. "I have come to ransom someone." Qin Li brought the ransom to redeem his wife's younger sister. Fang Yao's group saw that only Qin Li came alone. They immediately showed a happy smile. Chu Ziyin was even more filled with despair. How come he is such a useless brother-in-law? What use could he possibly have? Fang Yao walked up and locked eyes with Qin Li. "You've really gone through a lot of trouble, coming all this way." He placed the money on the ground. "You can leave now." Qin Li replied nonchalantly, "Isn't it customary to release people after you've received the ransom? Don't you kidnappers have any credibility left?" As soon as these words were spoken, the henchman burst into laughter. Fang Yao blew out a puff of smoke towards Qin Li. "The Chu family is really stupid. Only children make choices. I naturally want both money and people. Immediately call the younger brother forward to collect the money. As for your wife's younger sister, we will take good care of her for a while. After we have had our fun, we will naturally let her go." Qin Li immediately became angry and kicked the little brother who came to take the money hard, sending him flying. Fang Yao didn't expect Qin Li to dare to resist and became very angry immediately. "Brothers, take him down for me." The thugs all charged towards Qin Li with wooden sticks. Facing the crowd, Qin Li was not afraid at all. "Just a bunch of scum like you dare to lay hands on me." Qin Li knocked down a person with a straight punch. A flying kick once again kicks a person away. Another one without martial ethics actually launched a sneak attack from behind. Qin Li directly dodged to the side. A kneeling knee strike pinned him heavily to the ground. Fang Yao looked dumbfounded. "Damn, how is he so strong? Is he a monster?" Fang Yao turned around to run. The next second, he was easily caught up by Qin Li. One sweep trip, knocked down to the ground. Qin Li activated the cultivation method. Fist strikes rained down on Fang Yao like raindrops. Tied up Chu Ziyin was shocked. "Is this still my useless brother-in-law? When did he become so powerful? Quickly deal with all the hoodlums."
Qin Li slowly exhaled a breath.
"Come to Ziyin's side and untie the rope binding her. Hurry, let's go. Don't let your family worry." Ziyin stood up and looked at Qin Li with a complicated expression. "What's wrong with Qin Li?" Ziyin awkwardly grabs his hair. Next month we have a family reunion event at our school. Would you like to come and join us?" "Don't think too much. It's just that my parents, sister, and I don't have time. Plus, I'm afraid this group of people will come after me again. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you come with me." Qin Li scratched his face. He thought it was really rare. The younger sister of his wife actually invited me to attend a social gathering. Since the wife's younger sister spoke up, Qin Li agreed to participate. Qin Li sent back the wife's younger sister to the Chu family. The next day, Qin Li arrived early at the medical hall. The assistant Liang Xian had been waiting inside for a long time. When he saw Qin Li coming in, he hurried to report the results of the previous day's task. Boss, I have completed the task you assigned to me. Today you can go to the sales office of the Tian Hao Villa to handle the procedures for buying a house. Qin Li was pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect Liang Xian to be so efficient. Let's go. Let's go and do the paperwork now. Two people hailed a taxi. Qin Li, who was sitting in the car, was bored to the point of dozing off. Just then, the phone rang. Qin Li, with sleepy eyes, answered the phone. Hello. On the phone, the voice of Jiang Zhan, the young master of the Jiang family, came through. Brother Qin, guess what good news I have for you? I bought 10 shops in Jiangcheng City for you to open a traditional Chinese medicine clinic. All the procedures have been completed. They are now transferred to your name. Qin Li was stunned. He was quite startled. 10 shops. Then, thank Mr. Jiang. Saying thank you would be too formal. Brother Qin, you saved my grandfather. You are the great benefactor of my Jiang family. I'm also looking forward to you opening a clinic in Jiangcheng City. Yes, when you come to Jiangcheng City again, I will give you another villa as a gift.
Qin Li smilat puliteli.
Mr. Jiang, please don't spend any more money. I have already purchased the villa. Before long, Qin Li and Liang Xian arrived at the very luxurious sales office for decoration. Just as they entered the door, the attendants on both sides sweetly greeted them with welcoming words. Before coming, Liang Xian had already contacted the sales manager. Manager Yang Min was already waiting at the entrance in advance. Miss Liang, you're here. Didn't you say that Mr. Qin was coming with you? Why didn't I see Mr. Qin? Liang Xian quickly introduced to Yang Min.
Manager Yang.
This is my boss. Also the buyer of the Sky No. 1 villa, Qin Li. Are you Mr. Qin? Yang Min was suddenly somewhat surprised, looking at Qin Li's attire. They are all just ordinary clothes worth a few hundred yuan. Doesn't look like someone wealthy at all. Although good-looking, probably just a useless man taken care of by a wealthy woman. Actually pretended to be wealthy and bought a villa. I think Mr. Zhao just wanted to buy the Sky No. 1 villa. He also promised to give me a bonus of 500,000 yuan. But unfortunately, the villa was already reserved by Liang Xian yesterday. It seems that we have to make this useless person retreat in the face of difficulties. Yang Min adjusted his glasses, put on a look of apology, and said, I'm so sorry. The Sky No. 1 villa you reserved earlier has been sold. Please go back. I will refund the deposit to your card later.
Liang Xin listen intenti.
She suddenly became a little anxious. We have both paid the deposit. How can you turn around and sell it to someone else? Liang Xian's questioning tone is heard. Yang Min also couldn't be bothered to pretend anymore. Why? Just because the Sky No. 1 villa is the highest level villa of our Tian Hao real estate. Naturally, only people with distinguished status deserve to live there. Qin Li said lightly, going back on one's word. This is how you, Tian Hao, do business.
Yang Min smiled.
A look of disdain appeared on his face. What's wrong with being fickle? A man like you who depends on a woman's money to survive. Only capable in bed. What qualifications do you have to live in our top tier, the Sky No. 1 villa? Just then, a sexy voice suddenly sounded. You are right. A woman in a red miniskirt. A stunning beauty with a graceful figure walked over slowly. We only entertain distinguished guests like Tian Hao, guests of noble birth. Qin Li and her assistant Liang Xian went to buy a house together, but they were looked down upon and mocked by the sales manager. Just at this moment, a graceful beauty in a red short skirt walked over. We would only host guests who come from noble and prominent backgrounds like Tian Hao. Manager Yang noticed that the woman in red seemed a bit nervous. Boss Jiang, why are you here? Zhang Chushui arrived in front of Manager Yang. Suddenly, she slapped Manager Yang hard on the face. But Mr. Qin is the most esteemed guest of our Tian Hao. Zhang Chushui reached out and shook hands with Qin Li. Mr. Qin, hello? I am Zhang Chushui, the general manager of Tian Hao Real Estate. You may not know me, but I have seen your photo at Master Zhang Zhan's place. Tian Hao Real Estate is also a business of the Zhang's group. Also, I was the one who called you previously to provide information about the raw stone supply.
Qin Li suddenly realiza.
It was you. Zhang Chushui slightly bowed and apologized. I was planning to contact Mr. Qin in a few days to meet. I don't want to meet in such an awkward situation. My behavior has caused you unpleasantness. I'm sorry, Mr. Qin. Manager Yang, who had been slapped in the face, put on an ingratiating smile. So Mr. Qin and Boss Jiang know each other. Qin Li bent down. It doesn't matter who I know. What's important is that one should have principles in life. Please do not sell my villa to someone else. Manager Yang quickly nodded. Mr. Qin was right to scold. I promise that I will not make the same mistake again in the future. Qin Li turned around abruptly. When you are ready to complete the procedures, I will come back. Zhang Chuxue hurriedly caught up.
I'm sorry.
It's all our fault. Mr. Qin hopes you can forgive us. I will properly handle the matter with the villa for you. Watched Qin Li leave. Zhang Chuxue snapped his fingers. The two subordinates behind them immediately understood and lifted Manager Yang. Starting from today, I do not want to see this person again. Qin Li brought Liang Xian back to the medical center. It was found that there were many people surrounding the medical center. Even the police have arrived. Only to hear a woman with a face full of pus-filled sores yelling in front of the medical center. It's this Qinkuan medical clinic that sells fake medicine. It has ruined my face. The few women behind her immediately chimed in. We all turned out like this after using his ointment. They don't care about the patient's lives at all. Only care about cheating money. Yes, I also became like this after using family medicine. Fraudulent doctors should be severely punished. Qin Li just wanted to go up and see what was going on. Suddenly, the woman with pus-filled sores all over her face pointed at Qin Li. It's him. He's the heartless doctor. You, the seller of fake medicine, finally showed up. Qin Li looked confused. Fake medicine? What fake medicine? The woman pointed to her face. My face looks like this. It's all because of using the skincare products you sold. The women around suddenly became excited. Catch him. He is the unscrupulous doctor who plots to make money and harm lives. Quickly catch him. Liang Xian blocked in front of Qin Li. What are you going to do? The police officers looked serious when they saw someone trying to resist. What else can they do? They must bring scammers like this back for thorough questioning. Qin Li was seen taking out a cell phone from his pocket. He directly dialed Lu Wan's phone number. Don't worry. I'm just looking for someone to testify about this skincare product. Witness? What witness? The police officer took the phone with a puzzled look. Hello. I am a police officer from the Yangqing City Police Department. Do you know about the incident of Qinkuan Medical Clinic selling fake skincare products? Lu Wan looked puzzled. What fake skincare products? That's impossible. I have used skincare products from Qinkuan Medical Clinic. The results are very good. Quickly, Lu Wan drove to the clinic. Seeing Qin Li, he quickly asked, Mr. Qin? Have you released new skincare products again? Qin Li helplessly spread his hands. How is that possible? Just gave you all of the previous batch of ointment. Lu Wan smiled playfully and brought her face closer. After using your ointment, look at this skin, not only pink. It's also smooth and shiny. Feels super good. But speaking of it, Lu Wan turned around to look at those women causing trouble. These women also want to buy Qinkuan Medical Clinic skincare products. JC is asking Ms. Lu Wanlu, can you guarantee that Qinkuan Medical Clinic skincare products are fine? Is it true? Lawyer Lu Wan from Yangqing City took out her business card. I guarantee the truth of every word I say as a lawyer. JC listened to Lu Wan's affirmative words. It doesn't seem like a lie. Please rest assured. We will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly. If someone is lying, they will be held legally responsible. Those women causing trouble suddenly became uneasy when they heard that. Are they going to jail? Tell me, what exactly happened? Faced with the police's stern questioning, the woman who led the group finally broke down. I said everything. An elderly Chinese doctor surnamed Tong gave us a prescription and gave us a reward of 100,000 yuan. Let us frame Qinkuan Medical Clinic for selling counterfeit drugs. So it was him. Tong Bowei's residence. Tong Bowei is in a very good mood playing chess. Boss Lu, your move is really clever. Qin Li seems to be outsmarted by you. Lao Mingho is drinking tea. Dr. Tong, your medical skills are superb. The ointment you prescribed caused the face to be covered in blisters within half an hour. Qin Li is definitely doomed. The two of them burst into laughter instantly. Just then, there was a sudden knocking at the door. Tong Bowei stepped forward. Just wanted to look through the peephole. Suddenly, the door was violently kicked open. Tong Bowei, who was standing at the door, was suddenly knocked out by the door and flew out. Heavily smashed into the wall. Lao Mingho looked confused. Dr. Tong, you are seriously injured. Do you want me to help you with treatment?
Qin Li walked in slowly.
Lao Mingho saw Qin Li and said, Aren't you arrested by the police? So, you are the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. Lao Mingho suddenly stood up, pulled out a handgun from his pocket, aimed at Qin Li, and said, You guessed it right, but you still need to die. At this moment, Liang Xian rushed out like an arrow. A heavy punch landed on Lao Mingho's cheek. Lao Mingho was sent flying away. What level of person do you think you are? Also, You think you deserve to play with guns. Lao Mingho and Tong Bo-wei looked at Qin Li, who was slowly approaching, trembling with fear. What do you want to do? Qin Li squatted down. Don't be nervous. I just want to see if you can still move. Afterwards, Lu and Tong were taken away by the arriving police. Just at this moment, Qin Li received a message from Jiang Chushui. Mr. Qin's villa procedures have been completed. You can move in at any time. As a token of appreciation, I have made a reservation at Blossom and Orchid Restaurant. Please do come. Read the message. Qin Li greeted Liang Xian and then left alone. Very soon, Qin Li arrived at the Blossom and Orchid Restaurant and knocked on the private room door. Jiang Chushui, who opened the door, quickly ushered Qin Li inside. Mr. Qin, please have a seat. This is a newly arrived French black tea. I specially invite Mr. Qin to have a taste. In addition, the house purchase procedures have been completed. As long as you sign above, the Sky Number 1 villa will belong to you. Qin Li said thank you. Jiang Chushui then introduced the man next to Qin Li. Mr. Qin, this is Jiang Zhe from our Jiang's group. I heard that you were here, and he specially came to discuss cooperation with you. Qin Li looked puzzled. Cooperation? Jiang Zhe looked at Qin Li and said, cooperation. I heard that Mr. Qin, you have created a skincare cream. Cured Mayor Lu Zheng's sister's acne in Yangqing City. Jiang's group is interested in collaborating with you to develop this skincare cream. I believe that with Jiang's group's abundant resources and strong financial backing in Hua Province, many top-tier brands can be developed. I am sure that this skincare cream can be developed into a successful product. And I have obtained authorization from Mr. Jiang. This new company is owned by you as the majority shareholder. Qin Li, who knows nothing about business, suddenly feels overwhelmed. Am I the majority shareholder? Jiang Zhe adjusted his glasses. Yes. You just need to have Jiang's group produce and sell the skincare cream you created. The new company, Jiang's group, will only hold 20% of the shares. You will take the remaining 80%. How do you feel about having an 80% stake? Qin Li immediately fell into contemplation. There is no doubt that Jiang's group's power in Hua Province is crucial. If this product is handed over to them to manage, it can indeed have the greatest impact. Looking at Qin Li's contemplative expression, Jiang Zhe thought that Qin Li found the amount of shares too small. Hastily, he exchanged a glance with Jiang Chushui. Jiang Chushui went to Qin Li's side and bent down. Mr. Qin is here to make amends for the dissatisfaction you had when buying the house. Jiang and Jiang Zhe have obtained permission from young Master Jiang. Currently, Jiang is gifting the largest entertainment city in Yangqing City to Mr. Qin. Please make sure to accept it. Jiang Chushui has handed over the transfer contract of the entertainment venue to Qin Li. However, Qin Li unexpectedly declined with a single word. Boss Jiang is too polite. Boss Jiang has already apologized for the house purchase yesterday, and he has also resolved it perfectly. I will definitely not accept this gift. Mr. Qin, you are unwilling to accept it. It means Mr. Qin is still unwilling to forgive me. Master Jiang will definitely blame me. Qin Li heard these words and immediately slammed the teacup heavily on the table. If Boss Jiang insists on this, then there is nothing more to talk about today. Jiang Chushui quickly lowered her head and apologized.
Sorry.
I was abrupt. I take back what I said. Jiang Zhe on the side quickly took out a gold card. Since Mr. Qin is unwilling to accept the transfer of shares document, then please be sure to accept this supreme gold card. In the future, you will have free access to all entertainment venues under Jiang's group. Qin Li felt embarrassed and could not refuse any longer. He sighed helplessly. Then I'll have to thank young Master Jiang. Jiang Zhe poured Qin Li another cup of tea. About the collaboration on medicinal ointment. You see, how about this? Jiang's group provides production lines and sales channels. We each hold 50% of the shares. As for shareholders, let my wife Chu Pingyin take care of it. The shareholder will be my wife. Please let me know your thoughts on this, okay? Jiang Zhe and the other person couldn't believe it when they heard it. Great. I will send the contract to you tomorrow. Just at that moment, Jiang Chushui's phone suddenly rang. Mr. Qin has informed you previously that the raw stone has arrived in Jiangqing City. It will stay at Jiang's logistics warehouse in Jiangqing City tonight. Okay, you go ahead first. Qin Li also thinks it's time to repay Jiang Zhan's kindness. He stood up suddenly. Since that's the case, then I won't disturb you two anymore. Quickly, Qin Li arrived at the logistics warehouse. Looking at the ground full of raw stones, Qin Li couldn't help but sigh. As time passed, Qin Li has been cutting continuously for more than 2 hours. But for the full warehouse of raw materials, it's still a drop in the bucket. Qin Li yelled out, I'm exhausted from this job. At this rate, I'm afraid it won't be finished in the short term. It looks like we need to come up with a solution. Right. I remember the first 2 times gambling on jade stones were due to the resonance of mystic power to find the jade stones. I don't know if it will work anymore. Let's give it a try. Qin Li practices martial arts. The mystic power inside the body is spreading outwards in all directions. Come into contact with the raw stone. Qin Li quickly sensed a stone with exceptionally strong mystic power. Found it. Dealt with the raw stone matter. Qin Li returned home in the early hours of the morning. Just walked in the door. Qin Li froze in place. The Chu family surprisingly hasn't gone to bed yet, the whole family.
Seeing Qin Li come in,
Everyone's gaze instantly turned towards him. Qin Li immediately sensed that something was wrong. What is going on? Dad, Mom, Pinyin, it's so late. Why are you still not asleep? Pinyin has a serious expression. Hurry, tell me. What exactly did the little b asterisk tch from the clinic give you to make you act so confused? Qin Li looked puzzled and scratched the back of his head. What little b asterisk tch from the clinic? Pinyin then pointed at the photo on the table, yelling loudly, "Take a look for yourself." The mother-in-law also stood up abruptly. Pointing at Qin Li, she scolded, "You, born of a mother but with no upbringing. If you want to have an affair, then hurry up and divorce Pinyin. Get out of the Chu family." Qin Li picked up the photo and took a look, his face instantly filled with surprise. How could the trivial matters between himself and Liang Xian in the medical clinic be secretly photographed? This misunderstanding is big now. Zine suddenly stood up and slammed the table hard. "Qin Li, do you have anything else to say?" Qin Li asked curiously, "Where did these photos come from?" Zine's breath suddenly hitched. "I'm not asking you about that. That's not the point. You honestly confess. Who was that woman?" Qin Li sat on the sofa, took out her phone and explained, "It's not at all what you think. The girl is named Liang Xian. She fainted in front of the medical hall after getting injured before. I only found out that she was homeless after I saved her. Later, she volunteered to stay and work at the medical hall. Here, this is her phone number. You will understand once you ask her." Soon, Liang Xian's voice was heard from inside. "Boss, is there something wrong?" After 10 minutes of explanation. Embarrassed, fumbling with hair in confusion. So that's how it is. Wife's younger sister Zine, on the other hand, is unreasonable in complaining about Qin Li. Should have told everyone about Liang Xian's situation earlier. This way, misunderstandings wouldn't have arisen.
Qin Li,
It's not that we don't trust you. After all, the photos are right there. It's hard not to make associations after seeing them. The mother-in-law laughed awkwardly after speaking. Qin Li is sweating. It's okay. To ease the awkward situation, Pinyin took Qin Li and headed upstairs. Don't disturb Mom and Dad's rest in the middle of the night. Watching Qin Li go upstairs, the wife's younger sister and the father-in-law and mother-in-law quickly put away the tools used for hitting people. Right. Qin Li suddenly stopped walking. Looked at Pinyin. Today Zhang's group contacted me. They said they want to cooperate with me to develop a skincare cream. They will come to our house tomorrow with the contract to sign. Yiting, Dunqi Zhenjing, Jiang's group, Nandao Shihua Province Nage Zue Dingjian Xie de Jiang's group. The next morning, Jiang Zhe, afraid that Qin Li would change his mind, brought the contract to the Chu family early in the morning. The specific details have been discussed with Mr. Qin. You can sign the contract and it will be done. After signing the contract, Jiang Zhe immediately spoke up, congratulating Miss Chu on becoming the new CEO of the company. He hoped for pleasant cooperation in the future. Pinyin was very happy. Although I have been in the skincare industry before, I cannot compare it all to Zhang's group. In the future, I will need a lot of guidance from Mr. Jiang in the business. Miss Chu, you are too polite. Mr. Qin often speaks highly of you, saying you are an outstanding graduate, the top student or campus beauty. Jiang Zhe immediately started flattering Qin Li. Pinyin listened with a shy face. Her heart was full of joy. It turns out I am so perfect in his heart. But then she muttered quietly. Qin Li went out to Jiangqing City again today. Could it be for the preparation of the new company? Jiang Zhe adjusted his glasses. Not really. Mr. Qin has exceptional skills in jade stone gambling. In the last jade stone gambling competition, he bought a raw stone for 20,000 yuan. He unexpectedly cut a blood-red jade worth 1 billion. Even our Jiang's group's young master Jiang was shocked at that time. He then entrusted Mr. Qin to help find another blood-red jade. It's only been a few days since then. Mr. Qin has found it. Jiangqing City Airport. Zhang Zhan was waiting at the airport early. He saw Qin Li come out and waved to Qin Li. Qin Li, over here. Jiangqing City Airport. Zhang Zhan saw Qin Li at first sight.
Accitatli pata Qin Li's shoulder.
Qin, you are indeed extraordinary. I didn't expect you to find the blood-red jade so quickly. It must have taken a lot of effort. Qin Li laughed and said, it was no big deal. Didn't take much effort. The two of them quickly arrived at Zhang's group.
Jiang Zenugja Qin Li's shoulders.
My dad heard that the Qin brothers are coming, so he canceled all his social engagements in advance, just to thank you in person. Makes my dad want to receive them with such seriousness. Brother Qin is always the first one. Thank you for Uncle Zhang's kindness. I hope this piece of blood red jade will not disappoint Uncle. Suddenly, a deep and mellow voice came. You are the legendary physician Qin who saved my elderly family member, right? You are truly young and talented. Qin Li hurriedly said, I only have a little understanding of traditional Chinese medicine. Uncle Zhang smiled. Immediately, Qin Li handed over the blood red jade he had brought to Jiang Limin. Jiang Limin carefully examined it for a while. Finally, he slowly put it down. Zhang Zhun didn't hear his father's opinion for a long time, feeling a little uneasy. Dad, what do you think of this blood red jade? Jiang Limin slowly exhaled. It seems to be calming the turmoil in his heart. Unexpectedly, Mr. Qin is so amazing. He actually found the polychrome jade that has been hard to come by for decades. What? Zhang Zhan was shocked. Polychrome jade. It is the polychrome jade that was auctioned for a sky-high price of 1 billion. Jiang Limin sighed and said, That's right. Polychrome jade is rare and hard to come by. I never thought that I would be able to see it in my lifetime. 20 years ago, I participated in that auction with your grandfather. It resulted in a staggering bid of 100 billion. Jiang Limin looked at Qin Li and said, Mr. Qin, you have helped Zhang's group a great deal once again. You are truly a benefactor to our Zhang's group.
Qin Li smiled.
Uncle Zhang is pleased. That's what matters. The three chatted for a while. Jiang Limin left first because he had important matters to attend to. On the way to dinner, Jiang Zhen suddenly took out an envelope. He turned around and handed it to Qin Li. This is from last time when you asked me to help look for information about your parents. But they are just some hearsays. They may not be accurate. Have a look first. Qin Li immediately opened the envelope. What was written inside seemed mysterious, just as Zhang Zhan had said. In addition to this envelope, there was actually another piece of information not recorded inside. 2 years ago, your parents appeared in Capital City once. Capital City. Is this information true? Not sure yet. I just received this information yesterday. I will let you know if it is confirmed. Later, Jiang Zhen took Qin Li to the hotel run by his sister. He wanted Qin Li to try the signature dishes there. The two of them just walked into the lobby. A tall and leggy beauty called out to Jiang Zhen. She said Jiang Zhen promised to accompany her shopping today. Where are you? Jiang Zhen suddenly laughed and put on a smiling face.
I'm sorry.
Today, I have to entertain Brother Qin and forgot that I promised to go shopping with you. Jiang Zhen quickly introduced to Qin Li, Brother Qin, this is my sister Jiang Ran. Qin Li politely extended his hand. Hello, I am Qin Li. He did not expect to be completely ignored by Jiang Ran. Qin Li suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. Jiang Zhen pulled Qin Li over and whispered in Qin Li's ear. Sorry, Qin brother. My sister has had a problem since she was a child. She just doesn't like to be around men. Please understand. Qin Li's face immediately turned black. Are beautiful women nowadays all into lesbian relationships? Just then, a hotel staff member hurriedly ran over. Oh no, there's someone on the rooftop attempting to jump. Boss Jiang. Jiang Ran was taken aback when he heard this. Make sure the security guard stops him for me. I'm going to the rooftop right now to take a look. He finished speaking, then ran while taking out his phone to call the police. Hello, this is Quanji Hotel. Someone here is about to jump off the building. Jiang Zhen looked helplessly at Qin Li Qin. He didn't expect to encounter such a situation. He had planned to take you out for a nice lunch. Jiang Zhen, since you treat me like a brother, let's not be so polite. Let's go up to the rooftop together and see if we can be of any help. The rooftop of the hotel? A waiter stood on the railing, looking distraught. He was about to jump off. Security personnel behind him were trying to stop him. Please, don't do anything foolish. You can make any request you want. Boss Jiang is on the way. She will definitely try to satisfy it as much as possible. The woman, however, ignored it as if she had not heard anything. She even put one foot out of the building. At that moment, Jiang Ran and Qin Li finally arrived. Jiang Ran shouted, I will fulfill any request you have. Please don't act rashly. The woman with a gloomy expression turned to look at Jiang Ran and asked, Is what you said true? Qin Li saw the woman's gloomy face and suddenly felt disheartened. It's not as simple as suicide. The woman's face was shrouded in a black haze. It is feared that her mind is being controlled by something. It's not as simple as just suicide. Just at that moment, Jiang Ran has rushed up. He wanted to grab the woman. Qin Li quickly issued a warning. Don't go over. There is a problem here. This woman has a problem. But it was too late. The woman suddenly grabbed Jiang Ran. Then she jumped off the building, dragging Jiang Ran with her. Jiang Ran let out a terrified scream, thinking to herself that they were doomed this time. Qin Li's movements were so fast that he instantly flashed to the edge of the guardrail. He tightly grabbed the two people with both hands and then exerted force. He pulled the two people up high. What a coincidence. Jiang Ran fell directly onto Qin Li's lower body. Qin Li was instantly extremely embarrassed. But before the two could react, the woman suddenly rushed over quickly. Holding shiny cold nails, she reached out to grab Qin Li. Just when everyone thought it was over, Qin Li quickly took out a silver needle and used his internal energy technique. A needle was fiercely inserted into the woman's body. The woman with the needle in her body let out a miserable scream. With a thud, she fainted and collapsed to the ground. Looking at Jiang Ran's terrified expression, Qin Li quickly asked, "Miss Jiang, are you all right?" Jiang Ran finally reacted and felt the warmth of Qin Li's hands holding her waist. She blushed shyly and jumped up suddenly. Jiang Zhan stepped forward and patted Qin Li on the shoulder. "Brother Qin, your performance just now was really amazing. How did you do it?" "It's nothing. I just noticed something was wrong earlier. Just made a prediction in advance." Jiang Ran looked puzzled. "Is there a problem?"
Qin Li nudda.
"I feel like a spell has been placed on your building." Jiang Ran looked disdainful. "Mysticism? Are you kidding me?" Later, they went to deal with the follow-up. Qin Li and Jiang Zhan went downstairs. Along the way, Jiang Zhan expressed his gratitude to Qin Li many times. "It's nothing. You have helped me so much before. You don't need to worry about this small matter," Qin Li said as he spoke. While speaking, Qin Li reached into his bag and took out a jade gourd, then threw it into the greenery beside him. At this moment, Jiang Limin, upon hearing Jiang Ran mention the strange incidents at the hotel multiple times, decided to invite the most famous feng shui master from Hua province to come and investigate. "Mr. Jiang, rest assured, if it is a feng shui issue, I have my own way to solve the problem." He carefully examines the situation as he speaks. Suddenly, Master Qin's face was full of shock. This is malefic energy erupting. It seems that only an extraordinary expert could have set up this formation. In Hua province, no more than 2 people can break this formation. At this moment, Jiang Ran is dealing with the aftermath of the female waitress. Upon seeing the appearance of Jiang Limin, Jiang Ran suddenly feels a bit surprised. "Dad, why are you here? I heard that strange things have been happening frequently at your hotel recently, so I invited Master Qin to come and inspect." Master Qin, who was originally inspecting all around, suddenly had his attention caught by the nearby green plants. "Who placed this jade gourd here?" The lobby manager was quickly called over. It seems to have been the person who came with Master Jiang. Jiang Ran looked surprised. "Why is it him again?" Master Qin had a relieved expression on his face. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Otherwise, with this jade gourd, someone might have died in the hotel." Jiang Ran looked disdainful, speaking in such a scary way. "Charlatan of the martial world. I only believe in science. If it weren't for my father being here, I would have kicked you out long ago." On the side, Jiang Limin looked solemn. "What does Master Qin mean?" Master Qin carefully examined the jade gourd. "The expert who set up the formation outside is formidable. I am not completely confident that I can unravel it. Now, perhaps only by finding the expert who placed the jade gourd can we dispel this malefic energy formation." Jiang Limin hurriedly asked where Jiang Ran and Little Qin had gone. "I don't know. They just left together." Jiang Limin shouted. "Then quickly call your brother and ask him to bring Little Qin back." Jiang Ran, although not believing in feng shui, reluctantly made the call. Soon, Qin Li and Jiang Zhan returned to the hotel. "Dad, what urgent matter brought us back?" Introducing Jiang Limin. "This is Master Qin, a feng shui master from Jiangqing City. Master Qin has discovered issues with Little Ran's hotel, but there is still something we need to ask Little Qin about." Master Qin looked at Qin Li and said, "Just now, I noticed malefic energy leaking from the hotel, but then I also sensed that something else seems amiss. It wasn't until I found this jade gourd inside the plants in the lobby that Qin Li nodded. Indeed, this jade gourd is the one I placed in the hotel plants." Jiang Zhan looked puzzled. "Is there something wrong with this jade gourd?" Suddenly, Master Qin burst into laughter. "Truly, heroes emerge among the young. I never thought that my mysticism sect would have successors." He then explained, "If it weren't for Little Qin and this jade gourd, I'm afraid there would have been casualties at the hotel by now." Jiang Limin's face immediately lit up with joy. "So, as long as we use Little Qin's jade gourd to suppress the magic formation, there won't be any more accidents, right?" Qin Li shook his head. "In fact, the situation has not been completely resolved yet. I saw that the malefic energy of the evil formation was very strong at that time. So, I temporarily used the jade gourd to suppress it by throwing it onto the core of the formation." But to completely resolve the issue, it still needs to be decoded. Shortly after, Qin Li led everyone to the rooftop terrace. This should be the weakest point of the formation's energy. Qin Li then turned to Master Qin. Can you please lend me 7 copper coins? Master Qin took out 7 copper coins from his pocket and placed them in Qin Li's hand. Qin Li performed a technique, shooting the copper coins to a specific location. The malefic energy that was originally hidden inside the building suddenly gathered towards the rooftop. The dense malefic energy gradually condensed together. A figure resembling a human face unexpectedly appeared. Upon seeing this scene, Master Qin's expression changed instantly. He never expected this malevolent formation to be so powerful. The malefic energy has actually condensed into an evil spirit. Qin Li took a look. The time has come. He quickly took out the dagger borrowed from Liang Xian before leaving, stabbed it into the heart of the evil formation. Just then, golden light suddenly shone around. The fierce evil spirit was completely sucked into the dagger and sealed. Qin Li let out a long breath. Finally, it's done. Qin Li put the dagger back into its sheath. The person who jumped off the building earlier should be fine now. You can call and check on him. Master Qin smiled and sighed. Today, I have really broadened my horizons. Little Qin is indeed very capable. Zhang Limin also greatly praised Qin Li. Fortunately, we had Little Qin today. Otherwise, Little Rant's hotel might have been in big trouble. After dealing with the evil spirit, Jiang Zhan, in order to show his gratitude, took Qin Li to Ming's Palace Hotel, the most famous restaurant in Jiangqing City, for a meal. Just entered the door, preparing to have the manager arrange a private room to entertain Qin Li well, but the manager looked embarrassed. Young Master Jiang, I'm really sorry. Ming's Palace Hotel is fully booked today. Fully booked. Jiang Zhan pointed to a table in front of him immediately. Don't you still have space here? Are you saying you don't want my business? Manager Xia quickly started to explain apologetically. Sorry, the main reason is that we can't afford to offend that guest. Just then, a man walked over slowly. Oh, I thought it was someone else. It turns out to be our Jiang Big Master. Jiang Zhan looked at the burly man in front of him and sneered. Who's the extravagant one who has to book the whole place just to have a meal? Turns out it's our Cho Big Mater. Cho well extended his pinky finger, looking disdainful. Even if I'm wasteful, I'm better off than you, Jiang Zhan, you lowly person. Always mixing with these inferior people. Cho well, you think you're so great. Really treating yourselves, the Chao's family, as the elite in the capital city. Even if our Chao's family is considered reputable in the capital city. Zhang's group is eager to enter the circle of the capital city. It's really ridiculous. Jiang Zhan immediately flew into a rage upon hearing this. Say that again, and I'll make you remember the lesson of ending up in the hospital a year ago after I beat you up. I see you want to relive that today. Chowell chuckled and suddenly lifted his leg to kick Jiang Zhan. Do you think I'm still the same Chowell from a year ago? Jiang Zhan quickly raised his hand to block. He suddenly felt a huge force coming at him. Jiang Zhan was forced to slide out quite far before coming to a stop. Feeling the pain in his arm, Jiang Zhan was somewhat incredulous. WTF? How did this guy become so strong? Watching Chowell charging towards him, Jiang Zhan met him head-on without backing down. The two soon engaged in a fierce fight. Little did he know that Chowell's strength had already surpassed Jiang Zhan by far. Easily dodging Jiang Zhan's fist, Chowell's punch landed straight on Jiang Zhan's face. Jiang Zhan had no way to dodge and was about to get hit. Suddenly, Chowell let out a tragic scream. The whole person flew out rapidly and hit the table heavily. Only Qin Li was seen standing in front of Jiang Zhan. Jiang Zhan's face was full of shock. Isn't this kid a doctor? How can he be so strong in fighting? What? Jiang Ran, who doesn't like men, actually experienced sexual harassment. Jiang Zhan's face was full of shock. Qin Li, isn't this kid a doctor? How can he be so strong in fighting? A long time. Chowell slowly got up. He sighed in his heart. There is actually such a powerful person by Jiang Zhan's side. I'm afraid he's similar to my cousin who is good at internal strength. Chowell, unwilling and resentful, looked fiercely at Jiang Zhan. Today, there are others helping you. Consider me unlucky. Even when leaving, he did not forget to utter harsh words. Jiang Zhan, you just wait for me. Jiang Zhan put his arm around Qin Li's shoulder. Good buddy. Thanks to you just now. Otherwise, I would have suffered a big loss today. I can't just stand by and watch you get hurt. At first, I thought you were just having a friendly discussion. I didn't expect Xu Fong to resort to such heavy-handed tactics. Jiang Zhan laughed and said, let's grab a meal first. Then, I'll take you out to have some fun. By the way, my younger sister is going to Yangqing City tomorrow to see her close friend. I've booked the same flight for both of you. Please take care of her when the time comes. Your sister, Qin Li, was instantly embarrassed. Oh no. The next day, on the flight back to Yangqing City. Qin Li looked embarrassed. Miss Jiang, long time no see. Jiang Ran looked somewhat proud. How come I run into you everywhere I go? She humphed and walked away. Suddenly, a scream echoed in the cabin. A groping hand covered in sweat and hair landed on Jiang Ran's perky butt. The flight attendant hurried over. Miss, what happened? Jiang Ran looked furious, pointing at a man with a full beard. This man touched me. The flight attendant was about to ask the man for information, but he rudely pushed her away. It was just a touch. Was such a big reaction necessary? The captain warned the man. This gentleman, please apologize for your actions. Otherwise, we will report to Jiangqing City Aviation. You will be permanently blacklisted from boarding. Suddenly, a man with his head covered by a hat suddenly pulled out a handgun and aimed it at the captain's head. Look at the groping hand, man. Lao San, your acting is not bad this time. The groping hand man smiled complacently. Hee hee, not bad yourself. Then the two of them shouted loudly. Hijacking. Please put all your valuable belongings into the bag. If anyone doesn't comply, I will shoot their head. The crowd was shocked and screamed in fear. Just then, Jiang Ran was suddenly covered from behind. Don't make a sound. Follow me. Qin Li led Jiang Ran into the bathroom and instructed Jiang Ran to stay inside obediently, then turned and left the bathroom. At this time, the robbers were robbing the passengers' belongings. However, they were complaining because they hadn't encountered any fat sheep. Just then, a child started crying out of fear. The infuriated man with a groping hand pointed the gun at the child. Shut up. Before the man could finish his sentence, he was suddenly hit in the face. The man was heavily knocked down to the ground. Fainted. Another robber shouted a few times, but there was no response. Suddenly became furious. Since you dare to act, don't blame me for being impolite. As he finished speaking, he was about to pull the trigger. At that moment, Qin Li rushed over at top speed. Blood splattered everywhere. Qin Li and Jiang Ran encountered a hijacking on the plane. Although Qin Li rescued the pilot, but Qin Li also got injured. Jiang Ran helped Qin Li bandage the wound while blaming him, saying, You said you wouldn't wander off to the restroom with me. Why do you have to show off your abilities? You end up getting injured, just as expected. The flight attendant next to them, however, had a look of admiration on her face. This young lady. Thanks to your boyfriend today. Otherwise, everyone on the plane would be in danger. I wish I had a boyfriend like that. Jiang Ran blushed suddenly. He is not my boyfriend at all. The plane quickly arrived in Yangqing City. Got off the plane. Jiang Ran, chasing after Qin Li, asked Qin Li where they were going. Just got shot. Where else can I go? Definitely going home to rest. However, Jiang Ran said, I'm not familiar with Yangqing City. You are my brother's friend, so you have to take care of me. I will come find you tomorrow. You are responsible for my meals for the entire day. Qin Li looked at the other person's expression. Suddenly, he somewhat understood why Jiang Zhen looked so dejected. Having a younger sister like her, it was impossible not to be bullied by her. After the two separated, Qin Li returned to Qinkuan Medical Clinic. Liang Xin helped Qin Li reapply medication and bandage the wound. I didn't expect that. The boss actually subdued the armed robber with his bare hands. He is really powerful. Qin Li said casually, It's nothing, really. The situation was critical at that moment. I had no choice either. Qin Li, who was well-dressed, looked at Liang Xin. Have you ever thought about finding your teammates? They might still be alive. Listening to Qin Li's words, Liang Xin's body trembled slightly. Find them? Boss, do you mean? If you want, I can help you find out where they are. Liang Xin suddenly turned around. His fragile voice was a little choked up. I will give you their personal information right away. Qin Li listened to the suppressed crying and sighed in his heart. This little girl usually appears strong. In reality, there has always been a fragile side in her heart. Liang Xin opened a safe deposit box. The information about the team members inside was handed over to Qin Li. Thank you, boss. Qin Li took the data seriously. Okay, absolutely. Afterwards, Qin Li returned to the Chu family. At this moment, Pingyin is sitting on the sofa, working. At a glance, Qin Li returned. Pingyin couldn't help but smile with joy and said, Qin Li, you're back? Qin Li walked to the sofa and sat down. Pingyin asked with concern, Are things busy? The pressure must be great. It's okay. Everything has been resolved. Your new company just opened not too long ago. There must be a lot of things going on. Take good care of yourself. Don't tire yourself out too much. Speaking of the company, Pingyin is showing off to Qin Li. Look, the trial products that our company just launched online have received widespread attention. It's very popular. Thanks to you. Qin Li rubbed Pingyin's hair. Amazing. You are indeed very suitable for running a cosmetics company. Thanks to you, I can have my own company. That's right. There is a business networking event in Yangqing City tomorrow afternoon. The leader of my former company encouraged the organizer to invite me. Qin Li asked, so you don't want to go? Pingyin shook her head. Of course I want to go. After all, many important figures in Yangqing City will be present. It's a great opportunity to network. But if I go, wouldn't it be fulfilling the wishes of the previous company? How is that possible? Qin Li chuckled, saying, isn't it just that they want to see you make a fool of yourself? Are you saying that Zhang's group is not as good as Tianning Company? I'll accompany you when the time comes. In the evening, Qin Li checked the wound in the room alone. At this moment, Pingyin suddenly burst in. You are injured. Qin Li quickly replied, it's nothing. Just a minor injury. It's almost healed. Pingyin suddenly blushed shyly. Be more careful when you're outside. Mom and Dad are still looking forward to having grandchildren. This evening, Pingyin suddenly told Qin Li that she wanted to have a baby with him. Aren't you into girls? Pingyin looked downcast. Actually, before meeting you, I also met a senior before. I was deceived by him. I almost died in the end. Since then, I have become afraid of being physically intimate with men. Later, I only dared to be in relationships with women. Unexpectedly, the women deceived me too. Qin Li listened to Pingyin's account. So that's how it was. Don't worry. I will never allow anyone to hurt you again in the future. Pingyin looked ashamed. Qin Li, I apologize to you for everything I did before. Let's put the past behind us. Qin Li pushed Pingyin down onto the bed. Pingyin suddenly reached out to stop Qin Li. You're injured. Let's not do it tonight. It's okay. This minor injury won't affect anything. The next morning, Pingyin got up early to prepare breakfast for Qin Li. Are you still feeling sore? Do you want me to give you a massage? Pingyin blushed immediately. It's not necessary.
I'm okay.
Qin Li quickly changed the subject. Then let's go directly to the seminar later. After having breakfast, they left the house together. Aren't we going to the seminar? Why did we come to the car dealership? I was thinking that there will be many places to use the car in the future. It's not convenient always using our parents' car. It's more convenient to buy a car for ourselves. They stopped in front of an off-road vehicle together. Qin Li said slowly, ever since I was little, my favorite has always been off-road vehicles. Saying so, he planned to get in the car and give it a try. Just at that moment, suddenly, a voice came from a distance. Don't move. Who told you to open the car door? I saw a man wearing a white shirt and a tie walking quickly towards us. Do you know how expensive this car is? What if the paint gets scratched off? Can you afford to compensate for it? I'm sorry. I just wanted to take a look. That's right. Is there a test drive available for this off-road vehicle? The salesperson, however, had a very arrogant attitude. This car is a limited edition nationwide. You can also test drive if you want, but you have to pay a deposit in advance. Otherwise, in case you damage the car, what if you don't buy it? Qin Li asked, how much do I need to pay then? Normally, you would need to pay 800,000 renminbi as a deposit. But judging by your appearance, just pay 600,000 then. Qin Li was suddenly a little surprised. Half of the deposit needs to be paid in full. That's correct. This is already the lowest standard we have here. You have no money to look at the car but still want to test drive it? Dunchi Manli and Chifin. Anger immediately filled his face.
YBels a Qin Li Jichmen Zudao.
Jiran Renjiabu Xiang's was Shungi. He grabbed Qin Li and walked out the door. Since she didn't want to do business.
Nào quen hái củ gíp ye càn ba.
Then let's go next door to have a look. The salesperson immediately looked disdainful. What are you pretending to be rich for? You can't afford anything here, and you still want to go next door. Don't even take a look at the ragged clothes you are wearing. If you want to pretend to be rich, at least bother to wear decent clothes. Suddenly, his colleague exclaimed, pointing at the two people just now. Big brother Ma. Just now, those two really want to check out the cars across the street. Qin Li and Pingyin arrived at the 4S store next door. The salesperson enthusiastically introduced the performance of the car to Qin Li. Mr. Qin, what do you think of this car? The price is 8.1 million. If you're interested, you can take it for a test drive. Just then, the salesperson suddenly rushed in and said, Manager Wang, are you really letting him test drive such an expensive car? These two people just came from my store. They can't even afford our car that costs over $1 million. Let alone the ones you have here. Never expected. Manager Wang just smiled faintly after hearing that. Regardless of whether this gentleman buys or not, providing good service to every customer is our job. Qin Li looked towards the salesman and spoke slowly. How do you know that I can't afford it? Qin Li took out a gold card from his wallet. I'll pay in full. No need to test drive this car. I'll take it, Qin Li said. In full payment. The salesperson looked at the supreme gold card Qin Li took out. Suddenly stunned, eyes wide open, Manager Wang took the gold card with a smile. The boss is generous. I'll process this for you right away. Please wait and relax in the VIP lounge. After saying that, he asked Qin Li and Ping Yin to go to the VIP lounge. Watching the salesperson's embarrassed figure, Manager Wang did not forget to make things even worse. Thank you for sending me such an important client. Complete the formalities. Qin Li and Ping Yin drove to the entrepreneur event. Just then, Qin Li's phone suddenly rang. Qin Li remembered about treating Jiang, ran to a meal when she saw that the caller was Jiang Ran. Qin Li answered the phone. Tell Jiang Ran that I am attending the Yangqing City Entrepreneur Exchange Conference. Who's the one Jiang Ran wants to hear from? Also making a fuss about wanting to attend. Said that the economy of Yangqing City is driven by Jiang's group. Why can't I go there myself? Qin Li could only sigh helplessly. She agreed to go. At that moment, Qin Li happened to meet Boss Jiang Chu Shui. Can Boss Jiang help me go pick someone up? Jiang Ran from your Jiang's group lives in the suite on the second floor of this clubhouse. Jiang Chu Shui was shocked. When did the young miss come to Yangqing City? And she's staying in a hotel. If her family finds out, she will be blamed. Jiang Chu Shui quickly turned and ran out of the venue. Ping Yin was chatting with other entrepreneurs when suddenly a voice came from behind. Oh, you actually came when called? A heavily made-up and greasy fat woman walked up to Ping Yin. It turned out to be Manager Liu, Ping Yin's former boss. What an obedient dog you are. Dressed so provocatively, are you trying to seduce a wealthy man? Ping Yin immediately looked angry. Manager Liu, please show some respect. Who knew that suddenly the fat woman stepped forward and slapped Ping Yin hard across the face. Pointing at Ping Yin, she yelled loudly, you little bitch. Get as far away as you can. It's not your turn to discipline me. Don't think that I dare not manage you just because I quit. You little bitch, you are asking for trouble. At that moment, Qin Li returned. Upon seeing Ping Yin's swollen face, they quickly asked, Ping Yin, what happened to your face? Oh, isn't this Chu Ping Yin's useless husband? You came just in time. Let me teach your flirtatious and cheap wife a lesson for you. So you won't be cuckolded outside. Qin Li was immediately enraged. He said coldly, it was you who hit my wife. You are still clueless and acting all tough. It was I who hit her. What can you do to me? There was only a loud bang. Qin Li reached out a fist and fiercely hit the fat woman's face. The fat woman, over 200 pounds, was instantly sent flying. The floorboards were slightly shaken from the impact. Qin Li looked disdainful. Hit my wife and still act so righteous. The fat woman finally got up after a long time, letting out a pig-like scream. Beating someone. Chu Pingyin and her useless husband started beating people. Hearing the fat woman scream, a bald man ran over. What happened? The fat woman looked at the man with tears in her eyes and cried out, Chen, you finally came. Chu Pingyin, that little slut. Had her husband beat me. Manager Chen's face turned dark as he pointed at Qin Li and sternly shouted, Chu Pingyin, how dare you ask your husband to hit Manager Liu? Apologize now. Pingyin's face was full of anger. She should be the one apologizing. She was the one who started it. Besides, I have nothing to do with Tianning Company anymore. Why should I apologize to her? Manager Chen was suddenly very angry and threatened, saying, don't think that just because you have started a new company, I can't do anything to you. Let me tell you, Tianning Company has already signed a contract with Zhang's group. Offending us now is the same as offending Zhang's group. It will make it difficult for you to survive in Yangqing City. Suddenly, a rude female voice from the crowd spoke up, oh, people like you can represent Zhang's group? The plump woman listened to the provocative words and exclaimed, who the hell are you? How dare you get involved in my business? Just because she is the young lady of our Zhang's group. Fatty and Manager Chen's faces changed instantly when they saw Jiang Ran followed by Jiang Chushue. Boss Jiang, why are you here too? They hurriedly went up to greet them, speaking cautiously. Hello, Boss Jiang. I am Lu Xiuqin, the manager of the Tianning Cosmetics Company. This is our company's manager Chen. Jiang Chushue looked at the two with cold eyes. It was you who insulted our Miss Jiang from Jiang's group just now, they said. The two shook their heads vigorously. Boss Jiang, this is all a misunderstanding. The fat lady touched her swollen face. The villain is the first to file a complaint. Boss Jiang, we came to attend the exchange meeting. Who would have thought this waste suddenly hit me? Lu Xiuqin, whose face had been beaten into a bald head, quickly joined in. Yes, Boss Jiang, look. Look how Xiuqin's face has been beaten. Boss Jiang, look at what they've done to us. Yes, Boss Jiang, look at how they bully the business partners of Zhang's group. You have to support us. You are from Tianning Cosmetics Company. That's right, that's right. The two finally remembered the name Tianning when they saw Jiang Chushue. They thought about how Qin Li would die later. Smilingly said, that's right. But Jiang Chuxue had a serious expression on his face. Jiang's group terminated the contract with Tianying for cooperation. Jiang's group will compensate for the breach of contract. Listen to what Jiang Chuxue is saying. The two were immediately stunned. Boss Jiang, are you mistaken? Jiang Chuxue looked at the two people.
No.
It's not wrong. What you insulted was the young lady of our Jiang's group. How is that possible? Chu Pingyin could not possibly be a shareholder of Jiang's group. Jiang Ran looked at the overweight woman and her companion indifferently. Jiang Chuxue, this is the first time I have been insulted like this by someone else. You decide what to do. Jiang Chuxue pointed to the door. Do you want to leave on your own? Or do I need to call the security to have you escorted out? Watched as the two individuals left dejectedly. Jiang Ran playfully sought credit from Qin Li. How about it? Did I come to the right place for this exchange? Qin Li blushed and muttered a thanks. However, Jiang Ran wasn't ready to let him off so easily. If you want to thank me, how about pouring me a glass of water first? He said, picking up the cup and reaching it out to Qin Li. At this moment, Pingyin suddenly stood in front of Qin Li. Miss Jiang Ran, we really appreciate what you did today. Let me pour the water instead, he said. Both women smiled, but they secretly exerted force on the water cup with their hands. Qin Li, the straight man, was completely unaware. He continued to introduce, this is my wife, Chu Pingyin. Both of them secretly had thoughts in their hearts. Miss Jiang felt that Qin Li's gaze was always a bit strange. Qin Li's wife suddenly remembered hearing her brother mention it before. Qin Li was already married, so it was her. Both of them couldn't help but tighten their grip. The water cup suddenly started shaking nonstop. Easygoing Qin Li finally felt that something was wrong. Sure, I'll be right back. Unexpectedly, the two of them spoke in unison. Not allowed to go anywhere. Qin Li forced a smile. I just want to go to the restroom. In the restroom, Qin Li looked helpless. These two women are really giving me a headache. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chuxue also appeared in the restroom. With a playful tone, she said, so Mr. Qin also has moments of fear, huh? Why were you two getting along just fine earlier, and then suddenly things heated up? That's because you are too outstanding, Mr. Qin. Oh, right. I have something for you to help me give to Jiang Zhan. Qin Li suddenly remembered the promise to help Liang Xian find the whereabouts of his teammate. You asked Jiang Zhe to help me check the whereabouts of the personnel here. The identities of these people are relatively confidential. They are also very important to me. Jiang Chuxue took the USB flash drive. I am grateful for Mr. Qin's trust. I will definitely personally hand it over to Boss Jiang. After the meeting, Qin Li drove home. Qin Li curiously asked about Pingyin. You talked with Jiang Ran for so long. What did you talk about? Pingyin looked displeased. What else can we talk about? Talk about how you annoyed Miss Jiang? Qin Li suddenly felt like he was digging his own grave. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Don't listen to her nonsense. Who knew Pingyin suddenly changed? Haha, I was just joking with you. Miss Jiang is very nice. Besides talking about you two, she also asked me if I wanted to go develop in Jiangcheng City. Qin Li looks towards Pingyin. Jiangcheng City. More resources available? Do you want to go by yourself? Pingyin. Wei Dito. I'm not sure either. But I don't want to be a frog at the bottom of the well in Yangcheng City forever. Jiangcheng City has more resources. The platform is also obviously larger than Yangcheng City. Haven't you already figured it out? Because Pingyin wants to develop in Jiangcheng City. After spending a month handling the affairs, the two of them are ready to go to Jiangcheng City. On the day of departure, Qin Li came to Qinkhuan Medical Clinic to bid farewell to Liang Xian. Inside Qinkhuan Medical Clinic, Qin Li watched Liang Xian's busy figure and felt very gratified. Liang Xian saw Qin Li appear. Immediately knew that Qin Li was here to say goodbye. Boss, what should we do with the clinic after you leave? You don't need to worry about that. I have already contacted a well-known Chinese medicine practitioner to come and work at the clinic. They will be here in a few days. By the way, I have asked someone to find out what happened to your comrade. I believe there should be news soon. You're welcome. Qin Li took out a bunch of keys. These are the keys to the villa at home. After I leave, you can live in the villa. Once I've settled down on the other side in Jiangcheng City, I'll come and get you.
Liang Xin Hasti Decalin.
My life was saved by you. You asked me to stay. I will definitely take good care of the medical center, Qin Li said solemnly. No, I consider you as a friend. There's no one owing anyone anything. Qin Li handed the key to Liang Xian. I'm leaving. Please contact me by phone if there is anything. Arrived at Jiangcheng City at the villa arranged by Jiang Zhan. Jiang Zhan is holding Qin Li's hand. Qin brother, finally waited for you to come. Thank you in Pinyin. Thank you Boss Jiang for arranging everything for us in Jiangcheng City. He even found us such a good place to stay. Qin Li is my brother. Jiang Zhan chuckled. Brother's wife, you are really too polite. Qin Li has done a great favor to our Zhang's group. He is more like a brother to me, Zhang Zhan. This little favor is nothing. Besides, you are also a shareholder of Zhang's group, so don't worry about such trivial matters. Zhang Zhan then casually draped his arm over Qin Li's shoulder. By the way, Brother Qin, I've also arranged to meet one of your colleagues today. I want to introduce him to you. Qin Li turned his head to look at his wife Pingyi. You see, Pingyi said with a smile, I still need to tidy up the things. If you have things to do, go ahead. Later, the two arrived at Ming's Palace Hotel. Zhang Zhan told Qin Li. The person we are going to meet is a medical doctor who has returned from studying abroad. He is also a famous legendary physician in Jiangqing City. He has opened a very large medical clinic in Jiangqing City. It's called Xingfeng Medical Clinic. I think you want to open a medical clinic in Jiangqing City. It's good to know more people. However, Qin Li curiously asked, however what? Zhang Zhan slightly embarrassedly rubbed the back of his head. This person has been pursuing my younger sister. But little Ran rejected him. The reason was because of you. Qin Li looked surprised. Because of me? That's right, little Ran said. You are her idol. If you want to be her boyfriend, you have to reach your level first. The two of them arrived at the private room. Zhang Ran saw Qin Li at first sight. She suddenly looked happy with Qin Li. Qin Li, long time no see, you're here? Miss Zhang Ran, long time no see. Qin Li turned to look at the white-haired man in the private room. Hello, I am Qin Li. But the man suddenly stood up. You must be the Qin Li that Miss Zhang Ran admires. The man looked disdainful. I thought you were someone impressive. Turns out you're just a rural hick from the countryside. Have you ever seen such an arrogant man? He called Qin Li a rural hick right off the bat. He also said he is a medical doctor with a PhD from the prestigious M-country Jinqiao University. He has won numerous international medical awards. He even cured the illness of the boss crump from the M-country. People like Qin Li are simply not worthy to be his opponents. Only a blind person would be attracted to Qin Li. A few minutes ago, Qin Li came to the private room with Zhang Zhan. The foreign male student who was rejected by Zhang Ran vented a lot of resentment towards Qin Li. Zhang Ran looked disdainfully at the foreign male student. How do you know that Qin Li is not as good as you? Then she turned to Qin Li and showed a face of admiration. You still have a lot to learn from Qin Li. The male international student studying abroad suddenly became anxious. Just then, the phone of the male international student studying abroad suddenly rang. Hello, don't you know that I'm off today? Dr. Zaya, you should hurry back. The patient you treated before, number 903, suddenly deteriorated. It's critical now. Zaya Wonbol looked surprised. What? Okay, I'll go back now. Zaya Wonbol looked apologetic. Zhang, little Ran, one of my patients suddenly developed an issue. I must hurry back.
Sorry.
I can't accompany you today. Zhang Zhan smiled. It's okay. Saving patients is the priority for Wonbol. Zhang Ran looked at Zaya Wonbol with a playful smile. Dr. Zaya, can we go to the hospital with you to observe you saving lives? Maybe. Qin Li can be a big help. Zaya Wonbol looked disdainful, just because he has the courage to follow along. Okay, this is what you said. If you can save the patient alone, maybe I will look at you differently. Otherwise, don't bother me anymore in the future. Qin Li beside him suddenly looked embarrassed. Wow, he actually used me as a shield. Qin Li and Zaya Wonbol quickly arrived at Jiangqing City First Hospital. As soon as they entered the ward, Zaya Wonbol asked, how is the patient now? Did you follow my previous instructions to give him the medicine on time? No, at the entrance to the ward. A male nurse and a group of men in suits are waiting at the door. When Nurse Wonbol sees Zaya Wonbol, she quickly speaks up, Dr. Zaya, the patient seems to be in critical condition. But a lion-haired man quickly strides past the female nurse. Dr. Zaya, you're finally here, he exclaims. The men in suits rush forward. They quickly subdued Zaya Wonbol. The lion-haired man shouted sharply, Sir, we are facing imminent danger. Zaya Wonbol, what are you up to? You promised earlier that the young master would be fine. Now you have broken your word. Zaya Wonbol, who was grabbed by the collar, looked terrified. Let's talk slowly. My previous treatment plan should be fine. Let me in to have a look first. The lion-haired person didn't listen at all. Let me give you a lesson first so that you will pay attention. After saying that, he struck Zaya Wonbol with a palm. Just as the command to stop was given, the lion-haired person's palm felt as if it was clamped by a pair of iron tongs, instantly halting. There is no benefit to you fighting with him now for your young master. It's better to let him in to have a look now. The lion-haired person suddenly became angry. Who are you? A friend of this useless quack? Are you looking to get beaten up too? He threw a punch at Qin Li, but didn't expect to be grabbed directly. I'm just reminding you. This could be a turning point, who knows? A turning point. That's right. I haven't seen the patient's condition yet. No one dares to guarantee that this is not a deterioration before the patient's improvement. It's like the temperature dropping instead of rising before spring arrives. Qin Li's comment has moved the lion hairstyle. Loosen Xia Wenbol's collar. Xia Wenbol adjusted his tie with a gloomy face, muttering in his heart. Really unlucky. Haven't given Qin Li a lesson yet. Just met such a rough man. The lion hair sees Xia Wenbol and remains motionless. Suddenly, it roars in anger. What are you still hesitating about? Hurry up and go see a doctor for me. Are you waiting to get beaten up? Xia Wenbol quickly ran into the hospital room. As soon as Qin Li entered the room, he noticed that the patient's condition was extremely serious. The toxicity in this person is quite complex. There is no sign of vitality at the scene. It feels like something has been overlooked. Qin Li practiced his martial arts and carefully used his mystic power to investigate the patient's condition. At this moment, Xia Wenbol was also sweating profusely due to the complexity of the patient's condition. Just as he was about to administer acupuncture to the patient, he suddenly heard Qin Li's voice behind him. Dr. Xia, wait a minute. Xia Wenbol was startled and angrily shouted, Qin Li, are you trying to scare me to death? Qin Li grabbed Xia Wenbol's arm and said, if you administer this needle, you might end up harming yourself. Qin Li opened the patient's clothes and said, take a look here. Xia Wenbol was shocked immediately. Such a big tumor. I didn't expect it to have already become malignant. To save him, it would only be possible by replacing all of his internal organs. Just at that moment, the patient suddenly began to shake violently all over. The lion-haired roared angrily at Xia Wenbol. Save him? What the hell are you waiting for? Xia Wenbol looked bitter and said, alas, it's probably too late. I can't do anything about it either. On the side, Qin Li quickly pulled out a silver needle wrapped in a package. Turning his head, he shouted to the two people, come and help. You two secure his limbs. Don't let him move around. What are you trying to do? Still showing off. I have no way. Xia Wenbol looked even more disdainful. I really have no way with the current situation. Have you even looked at where we are? Qin Li shouted directly, shut up. Watch closely. Qin Li practiced martial arts, infused mystic power into the silver needles, and quickly pierced the patient's acupoints with both hands. Qin Li finished needling. Heavily breathed out once. Okay, give him a little more time. He should wake up soon. I'll prescribe some medicine for him later. There shouldn't be any problem. Looking at the data on the monitoring equipment, Xia Wenbol's face was full of shock. The data unexpectedly returned to normal. Just then, the patient slowly woke up. The man with a lion-like hairstyle couldn't hold back his tears of excitement. You finally woke up, Mr. Steele. Where are we? Mr. Steele pointed to young Master Qin Li. We are at Jiangxing City First Hospital. This Dr. Qin just saved you. The patient turned to look at Master Qin Li. How come you're here? Qin Li suddenly looked puzzled. Do you know me? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were the friend I met in Capital City. Capital City. Qin Li thought to herself. Could it all be just a coincidence that it's Capital City again? Mr. Steele looked at Qin Li gratefully and said, Dr. Qin, my young master has already woken up. Does that mean he's out of danger? There shouldn't be any major problems now, just that his body is still very weak. Can you show me his medical records later? I'll prescribe some tonics for him, and it should be fine. Mr. Steele handed the medical records to Dr. Qin. Thank you for your help, he said. Dr. Qin Li looked at the medical records, but he was lost in thought. In my childhood memories, it seems that I don't have any relatives, but I was just mistaken for someone else. Perhaps Jiang Zhan's information about my parents appearing in the capital city is accurate. It seems necessary to find an opportunity to go to the capital city to investigate. Xia Wenbol, who was completely impressed by Qin Li's medical skills. The doctor is smiling all over his face. I wonder if Dr. Qin is interested? My Xingfeng Medical Clinic is still missing a chief physician. I don't know if you're interested. Qin Li smiled and said, Qingkuan Medical Clinic is still lacking a chief physician. Are you interested? Xia Wenbol was immediately so angry that he coughed up a mouthful of old blood. The young man, who was already in high spirits, looked at Dr. Qin Li. I really have to thank you for today. I will definitely express my gratitude to you. After being discharged from the hospital, you were too polite. It was just a coincidence that I met you today. Besides, saving lives is the duty of a doctor. Mr. Steele, please help me book the top suite at Paradise Hotel in Jiangxing City 3 days from now. I also hope that Dr. Qin can come and join us at that time. Qin Li nodded and smiled. Then you should rest well first. I won't bother you then. On the way back, Jiang Zhan asked Qin Li, do you know who the person you just saved is? Qin Li said lightly, look at those well-trained bodyguards. He must be quite important. That's right. Those bodyguards all have a northern accent, calling out young Master Su in their mouths. If I'm not mistaken, that young person should be a member of the Su family in Capital City. Qin Li doesn't know much about the situation in Capital City. Ask about the Su family. Zhang Zhen explained, yes, the Su family is the same as our Zhang's group. Both are prominent families in Capital City. It's just that our Zhang's group was unfortunate to be betrayed and driven out of Capital City by the Capital City Master, so I asked you to find the blood red jade before. Because next week is the birthday of the main family's old master of Capital City. After promising Zhang Zhan to go and treat the main family old master of Capital City, after 3 days passed in a hurry, that night, Qin Li, in response to young Master Su's invitation, went to Paradise Hotel for an appointment. The private room was filled with young Master Su's friends. Let me introduce you. This is the legendary physician Qin who saved me. If it weren't for him, I couldn't have had a drink with everyone present today. He raised the glass in his hand as he spoke. Let's raise a glass to Qin, the legendary physician. Young Master Su is too polite. But your body has just recovered. It's still better to drink less alcohol. Young Master Su is so happy. Haha, you are here, aren't you? What is there to be afraid of? Young Master Su suddenly leaned his head close to Qin Li. By the way, legendary physician Qin, aren't you curious about my identity? Qin Li looks indifferent. In my eyes, your identity is just a patient. Young Master Su gave a thumbs up. Very professional. Our temperaments match very well. Qin is a legendary physician. I've made friends with you. At this moment, the door of the private room suddenly burst open with a bang. A figure flew in and heavily hit the ground. A man with a large gold chain around his neck walked in. Surprised expression. Is this person with you guys? He just spilled his drink on me. The man who was kicked away struggled to get up. His face was covered in wounds. His mouth trembled as he said, "It's really not my fault." Young Master Su saw his friend being beaten, hurriedly stepped forward to mediate. This brother. Is there any misunderstanding between my friend and you? Jean Necklace Man doesn't even look at young Master Su. He said with a cold smile, this person has violated the rules of our Skywolf gang. We must teach him a lesson. If you don't want to get beaten up, you'd better scram right now. As soon as everyone heard the name Skywolf gang, their faces all changed. They all made excuses and fled one after another. Qin Li remembered what Zhang Zhan had told him before. Hua Province appears to be under the control of Zhang's group on the surface. But in fact, there is another powerful underground force. That is the Skywolf gang. Zhang's group also fears them to some extent. The influence of the Skywolf gang almost spans the entire country. They even have a reputation in the underworld of Capital City. And the reason why Skywolf gang is so powerful, because they have many formidable martial artists. These individuals possess internal strength, making them difficult to deal with. Barely anyone dares to provoke them. The young man who was kicked was on the ground crying and apologizing. I will compensate double the money for accidentally knocking over the liquor cabinet. But I really didn't mean to eavesdrop on your conversation. Young Master Su said with righteousness. How about this? I will compensate you on behalf of my friend. You can decide the amount. Can we consider this matter settled like that? Listen to what young Master Su says. The group of men with gold necklaces suddenly burst into laughter. Do you think our Skywolf gang is poor? Do you need that little pocket money of yours? But since you want to stand up for your friend, then you throw a punch at me. Can you handle it? I will let him go. Young Master Su looked embarrassed. It seems they are here on purpose to make trouble. Just at that moment, suddenly, a voice came from behind young Master Su. Skywolf gang, isn't it? Qin Li put his hand on young Master Su's shoulder. How about I take a punch for him? This person said that as long as he takes his punch, all things can be settled with a stroke of a pen. Qin Li shielded Mr. Su with one hand. Master Su, let me handle this matter. Qin Li, Master Su quickly dissuaded. You don't know how powerful they are. Please do not act rashly. Qin Li turned and smiled at Master Su. Rest assured, I will take care of it. I think they are just playing around and won't really deliberately make things difficult for us. Qin Li clasped his hands together. Brothers, please go easy on us. TSK, what a lot of nonsense. The man with the gold necklace stomped heavily on the ground. The whole person ran towards Qin Li. Kid, take this punch. A fist swiftly struck towards Qin Li. Qin Li easily dodged by swiftly dodging to the side. The man with the gold necklace looked surprised. Actually avoided my attack. Could this guy also be a martial artist who has cultivated internal strength? The man with the gold necklace suddenly became excited. Dodging doesn't count. After speaking, he threw a fierce hook punch at Qin Li. With just a snap, Qin Li easily caught the incoming punch. Qin Li, the man with the gold chain, who is also a martial artist, did not hold back either. Kid, I'm going all out now. Qin Li remained indifferent. Then come at me. With a loud bang, their fists fiercely collided. At that moment, suddenly Su shouted, "Stop! I am Su Enreal from the Su family in Capital City. I wonder if you can give the Su family some face, brother." The man with the gold necklace cursed inwardly at his bad luck. He had actually encountered someone from the military system. He smiled outwardly, pretending to be relaxed. So it turns out it's young Master Su. We've really offended someone important. Since young Master Su has spoken, let's give him some face. Su Enreal smiled and said, "Thank you, buddy. Everyone starts off as strangers. If you ever need my help in the future, I will do my best," said the man with the gold necklace, nodding. Before leaving, he suddenly turned back to look at Qin Li. "I didn't expect you to have some skills. Do you know what your master's name is?" Qin Li smiled and said, "I'm just an ordinary doctor. I just exercise a lot usually, that's why my body is stronger. Haha, since my brother is not convenient to talk about it, I won't ask further. But if you are interested in joining the Skywolf gang, you can always find me." With that, he shook his hand casually and left. Su Enreal patted Qin Li on the shoulder. Unexpectedly, Brother Qin is not only skilled in medicine but also so talented in his skills as well. I suspect they just haven't used full force yet. That's why they held back. Qin, you are too humble. It's a pity that I will be heading back to Capital City tomorrow. I will truly miss you, Qin. But when Qin arrives in Capital City in the future, you must come to the Su's family to find me. I will definitely fulfill the duties of a good host. That night, upon returning home, Qin Li suddenly received a call from Jiang Zhen. "Qin Li, you didn't forget, right? You promised to go to Capital City with me." Qin Li looked at the jade in his hand and calmly said, "Isn't it next Monday? There are still 3 days left." Jiang Zhen explained, "Zhang's group is one of the top families. We definitely need to arrive early to prepare. What time are we leaving tomorrow? I will pick you up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning." "It's settled then." Qin Li is focused on the jade. "We are just going to Capital City." It's the first time I've seen Jiang Zhen this nervous. Early the next morning, Jiang Zhen came early to pick up Qin Li. "Hurry up. It will be ready right away." Qin Li was seen moving a large pile of things from the villa. "Brother Qin, what are you doing?" Qin Li pointed at things and explained, "These are the clothes and food bought for me when I came to Jiangqing City." Suddenly, she also remembered that she had forgotten to bring a pair of shoes. "Please wait for me for a moment. I will go get them." Jiang Zhen looked speechless. He suddenly grabbed him and said, "Don't bother getting them. You can buy everything in Capital City. Let's hurry and leave. Otherwise, we'll miss the flight." Upon arriving in Capital City, Jiang Zhen took Qin Li to the pedestrian street. "Brother, I'll take you to the most famous pedestrian street in Capital City for shopping. I'll help you buy some clothes while we're at it." When Qin Li came to realize the prices in Capital City, she was shocked. A set of clothes costs tens of thousands of yuan. Even having an afternoon tea costs several thousand yuan. This is indeed not affordable for the average person. Jiang Zhen laughed heartily. "This is nothing. Tonight, I'll take you to a great place." That night, the two arrived at the Billion Club. As soon as they entered, a sexy girl in shorts greeted Jiang Zhen, saying, "Hey, isn't this young Master Jiang? Long time no see. Young Master Jiang looks even more handsome." Jiang Zhen smiled. "I just arrived in Capital City too. Is there a table available?" "Yes, we do. Please come inside," replied the girl. The beautiful woman watched as the two entered, then dialed Chowell's number. With a bang, Qin Li accurately pocketed the billiard ball. Jiang Zhen, who had already lost 30 rounds in a row, looked bitter. "You've never played billiards before? Your talent is unbelievable. I must win against you in a game." Qin Li smiled and said, "Let's do it another day. Aren't we attending a birthday banquet tomorrow?" Jiang Zhen let out a heavy sigh. Qin Li asked, "What's wrong?" Jiang Zhen looked worried and replied, "It's because of the birthday banquet gift for tomorrow. It might not be so easy to return to the Capital City main family." Qin Li asked in confusion, "Are you saying someone will block it?" Jiang Zhen looked serious and said, "That's right. In the past, my father was framed. He got into a car accident and injured a member of a powerful family. Because of that, we were driven out of the Capital City. Although the real culprit who framed my father was later caught, we never had the chance to explain everything to the old master in person. So, tomorrow I will have to trouble you to find an opportunity to show the old master what is happening with his body." Qin Li readily agreed. "All right, I will find a chance tomorrow to take a look." Just at that moment, the door of the private room swung open. Chowell walked in with a group of police officers. "Master Jiang, I didn't expect us to meet again so soon." Jiang Zhen's face suddenly changed. "Chowell, why is it you again?" Chowell said to the middle-aged man in black uniform next to him, "Director General, it's these two causing trouble in this store. They've also damaged a lot of public property. The middle-aged man smirked and said, "Someone, come and arrest these two for me." Jiang Zhen pushed Qin Li away and said, "Brother Qin, the Chou family is after me. You go first. Go find my father for help." Is the Chou's family very powerful? They are well known throughout the capital city, though the Chou's family is not considered a top-tier family. But they are involved in various industries in the capital city. Each of their forces has their own power. Qin Li asked about how it compares to the Su's family. You were talking about the Su's family in the capital city. Although the Chou's family is very powerful, it is far inferior compared to the Su's family. Qin Li took out her phone and dialed a number. Chou Well immediately started laughing mockingly. "You're a worthless newcomer to capital city. You even dare to copy others and act as a savior." Half an hour later, Chou Well watches Qin Li. "It's been half an hour already. Where are the reinforcements you called for?" Director General Zhao sneered. "What a useless person. What reinforcements can we call for? I think they're just stalling for time." "Jiang Zhen, I didn't expect you to be so weak now, resorting to such tricks. However, no matter how you struggle today, it's useless." Chou Well looks arrogant. In this capital city, the Chou's family has never been afraid of anyone. Even if the Su's family from the capital city you mentioned really comes, they have to fear the Chou's family. At that moment, the private room door suddenly opened. Su Enreal walked in with a look of disdain on his face. "Is that so?" Chou Well, who was originally arrogant, was suddenly struck as if by lightning.
Su Inren.
WDF? But how could this young master appear here? He is the little overlord of capital city. Offended him. But there is no good outcome for anyone. I heard that the Chou's family is very powerful. I, the Su's family, also have great respect for you. Chou Well's forehead was instantly covered in cold sweat. "Young Master Su, you misheard. I just said the Chou's family has always respected the Su's family." Su Enreal kicked Chou Well to the ground with one kick. "Are you playing a trick on me? You can talk nonsense, and I may not care, but you dare to accuse my lifesaver." Director General Zhao beside him had a bitter expression on his face. He deeply regretted his actions. Originally, he wanted to accept some bribes from the Chou's family. Unexpectedly, he offended the Su's family instead. "I am done for." Su Enreal turned to look at Director General Zhao. "Director General Zhao, you might as well take me away with you." Director General Zhao trembled all over, swinging both hands left and right. "Master Su, please don't joke with me. I was just confused for a moment." Director General Zhao then pointed at Chou Well, who was lying on the ground. "He is the one who threatened me. He also said that if I didn't listen to him, he said he would cause trouble for my family." Chou Well immediately became angry. "You two-faced bastard." Su Enreal kicked Chou Well hard again. "Did I ask for your opinion? Don't do it again. Get lost." People seemed to have been forgiven as if by miracle. They slinked out of the private room. Later, the three of them chatted inside the room. It turned out that Jiang was the brother mentioned by Qin. "In that case, from now on, we are all brothers. When did you arrive in capital city? Why didn't you tell me?" Qin Li laughed and said, "I just arrived as well. But I really have to thank you for today's matter." Su Enreal waved his hand. "Why is Brother Qin still being polite to me?" "Right. What are you here in capital city for this time?" Qin Li pointed to Jiang Zhen and said, "I came with Jiang Zhen to attend Old Master Zhang's birthday banquet. We are also going to have Old Master checked by a doctor while we are here."
Su Inren Sudanli Zilit.
"So that's how it is." Then Su Enreal looked at Qin Li and mysteriously said, "However, according to the information we, the Su's family, have received, it seems that Old Master's condition may not be as simple as just being sick." The next morning, Jiang Limin and his son brought Qin Li to the Zhang's family. "I have it with me." Jiang Limin looked serious. "Little Zhen, have we brought all the gifts for the birthday celebration?" "Don't worry, Dad. I have them with me." Jiang Zhen turned to look at his brother Qin Li Qin. "We'll play it by ear once we go inside." When the three of them arrived at the registration point, a voice suddenly came from behind them. "Wait." A man in a sable coat stopped Jiang Zhen. Jiang Zhen turned to look at the man. "Zhang Ziang, what do you want now?" It turned out that the man was the eldest son of the Zhang's main family. Zhang Ziang looked disdainful. "Jiang Zhen, you guys really don't give up, huh? You come every year to bring birthday gifts, but every time it's trash. I don't even bother to look at them, let alone the old master. Just take your trash and get lost." The people who came to congratulate on the birthday, they began to murmur one after another. Is this the father and son from the Zhang family who were driven out by the main family over a decade ago? Anyway, they are considered members of the Zhang family. Technically, they are qualified to attend the birthday banquet. Rubbish. Qin Li slowly opens the box and says to Jiang Ziang, "Brother, why don't you take a look at what Jiang Zhen has sent?" Jiang Ziang chuckled. What's there to see? Does our main family still need his little gift? Someone who knows about Jade approached in the group. He scrutinized for a moment. Suddenly, a shocked expression appeared on his face. Is this polychrome jade? The crowd around suddenly became agitated. Young Master Jiang, since you don't want it, then sell this piece of jade to me. To be able to see such a rare item, I never expected to come across such a treasure. The Jiang family is working to restore the main family. You really spared no expense. Jiang Ziang looked dumbfounded. Polychrome jade. Zhong said it's not limited. Isn't that the legendary item that can bring longevity when worn? Jiang Ziang laughed and quickly changed his tune. Everyone. I was just joking with brother Jiangzhan. This piece of polychrome jade is ultimately a filial piety from Jiangzhan and his son to the old master. If we don't accept it, wouldn't it be disappointing their intentions? Later, the three of them successfully entered the main family residence. Jiangzhan commented as he walked, saying, the main family in the capital city talks about rejecting, but they are actually quite sincere in their actions. Zhang Limin slapped Jiangzhan's head and said, lower your voice. What if someone hears us? Then he looked at Qin Li and said, little Qin, find a place to sit first. Wait here for us while we go and greet the main family. Qin Li looked at the crowd toasting each other. Feeling emotional, the relationships of the Zhang's family in the capital city are indeed intricate and complex. They are connected to military officials, politicians, and business magnates, controlling the lifeline of the entire nation. It seems that Jiangzhan and the others wanting to return to the main family may not be so easy after all. Just at this moment, Qin Li suddenly heard a familiar voice. Brother Qin, so it's you here. I've been looking for you for half a day. Qin Li saw Su in real. You are here too. My family and the Zhang's family also have some cooperation. So my family sent me and my eldest brother to extend our congratulations. Let's go. I'll introduce you to my eldest brother and my sister. Qin Li came to the rest area under the leadership of Su in real. Sister, this is the Qin brother that I told you about. I saw a person wearing black stockings. A woman with a super nice figure turned around. Qin brother, this is my second eldest sister. Su Shiryu turned to look at Qin Li. You are the doctor who saved my brother.
Qin Li Bua.
I am Qin Li. Nice to meet you, Miss Su. Su in real continues to introduce. This is my older brother, Su Kong. Qin Li suddenly stared straight at Su Kang's eyes for a long time. Su Kong asked, what's the matter, Dr. Qin? Is there something on my face? Qin Li awkwardly rubbed his head. Sorry for the rudeness. It's mainly due to my professional habit. Su Kong asked curiously, oh, so it's a professional habit. Did Dr. Qin see something on me? Qin Li is propping up her chin with her hand. If I'm not mistaken, Brother Su should have just returned from completing a mission, right? Su Kang's face showed a hint of surprise. Dr. Qin, you guessed it right. Qin Li spoke lightly. Although you seem energetic, years of accumulated injuries have left your internal organs with chronic ailments. Thus, your current physical condition absolutely cannot go on to carry out those dangerous tasks anymore. And if your body is not treated in time, if it is delayed further, you may end up with lifelong illnesses. Su Shiryu and Su in real listened to Qin Li's words and were suddenly filled with surprise. Big brother, you're sick? Su Kong looked at Qin Li and said calmly, lifelong illness. Originally, I was very grateful that you saved in real's life, but I didn't expect that you were just a big talking liar after all. Qin Li said calmly. Since Brother Su doesn't believe me, I won't say anything more. Su in real, hurry up and speak. I have experienced Brother Qin's medical skills. He is definitely not a fraud. You might as well let him take a look. Su Kong roared angrily, shut up. Just take care of yourself. It's none of your business to meddle in mine. Qin Li looked at Su in real, young Master Su, I've met that person as well. I won't disturb you today. After speaking, he left. Su in real hurriedly caught up. Brother Qin, I'm sorry. My older brother has that kind of personality. He's the same with everyone. Please don't take it to heart. It's okay. Brother Su probably has some difficult to explain reasons. Left the rest area. Qin Li alone wandering around the Zhang's family. Suddenly found a house in front of me is filled with malefic energy. I didn't expect that there would be such a malefic house hidden in the Zhang's family mansion. The malefic energy is dark. The feng shui evil pillar is still the locust tree. Qin Li suddenly found an old person lying on the bed inside the malefic house. The malefic energy is emanating from the old man, and the old man seems to be on his last breath. Qin Li hurriedly pried open the door lock, rushed in. Suddenly, malefic energy from all around surged frantically toward Qin Li, enveloping her instantly. Not good. It's an evil spirit formation. As soon as Qin Li entered the room, evil spirits formed from the gathered malefic energy rushed towards her. Qin Li activated her techniques, channeling mystic power into the silver needle. With a fierce swing, the evil spirits attacking Qin Li were instantly dispersed. The aura of this malefic formation is exactly the same as the one at the Jiangran Hotel before. Before Qin Li could delve into deep thought, the evil spirit that had originally dispersed gathered back together. Qin Li knew that only by deciphering the formation method could everything come to an end. Fortunately, the old man who taught me martial arts also taught me some methods to decipher formations. Qin Li followed the old man's method, carefully observing the surrounding directions. She quickly found the location of the formation's eye. That's it. Qin Li mobilized the mystic power throughout her whole body. The silver needle shot out in all directions like a torrential rain, instantly clearing out the evil spirits in the vicinity. Then she pounced fiercely. A needle accurately pierced the forehead of the evil spirit at the center of the formation. The skeleton evil spirit let out a miserable ghostly howl. In an instant, it completely disintegrated. Qin Li wiped the sweat from her forehead. The person who set up the formation really had some skills. It took quite a bit of effort. Qin Li looked at the old man's lifeless face, curious how he was trapped by such a strong malefic formation. Immediately, Qin Li hurriedly checked the old man's pulse. Luckily, it was still there. It's fortunate they discovered it early. If it had been any later, there would have been no hope. Qin Li then infused mystic power into the old man's body through a silver needle. Instantly, the malefic energy that had been accumulating in the old man's body was forced out. Soon after, the old man slowly opened his eyes and regained consciousness. "You're awake?" The old man slowly spoke. "Who are you?" Qin Li carefully helped the old man sit up. "I am just a doctor attending the birthday feast. It was a coincidence that I happened to be strolling around here and saved you," said the old man weakly. "I guess I almost died at my own birthday feast." Listening to the old man's words, Qin Li immediately knew the old man's identity. "You are Old Master Jiang. How did you get trapped by malefic energy?" Old Master Jiang sighed heavily. "It's my own fault. I was too confused. I picked the wrong person. I almost died at the hands of the person I chose." Qin Li asked with a puzzled look, "What do you mean?" Old Master Jiang explained, "If it weren't for my son, I wouldn't be like this."
Qin Li suddenly understood.
The old man was framed by his son. "The Jiang family also entrusted me to help cure you." Old Master Jiang sighed. "I didn't expect that. They not only do not blame me. However, besides helping me with the treatment, they should also hope to return to the Jiang's family main family, right?" Qin Li awkwardly scratched his head. "That's right. Indeed, nothing can escape your notice." Old Master Jiang sat down slowly. "Although I also want Li Min and Little Zhen to come back as a family, I'm afraid that I may have the desire but lack the ability." As he spoke, Old Master Jiang slowly rolled up his pants leg. Qin Li looked at Old Master Jiang's leg. Because of the previous malefic energy influence, some nerves in the leg had completely necrosed. Qin Li said slowly, "Old Master, how about we make a bet? If I can cure you, then you will let the Jiang's family return. If I fail, I will leave it to you to decide." Qin Li saved Old Master Jiang. Old Master Jiang promised Qin Li that if he could cure his leg, he would let Jiang Zhan's family return to the capital city main family. Qin Li treated Old Master Jiang with acupuncture. Shortly after, Old Master Jiang suddenly burst into laughter. "Good lad. Indeed skilled. But if you want the Li Min family to truly return, you need to do one more thing." The next day, Old Master Jiang held a family meeting. At this moment, the current Master Jiang Hanchong is looking at Old Master Jiang with a fierce expression. How did this old man suddenly become clear-headed? And he even called Jiang Li Min over. Old Master Jiang, seeing everyone present, spoke up. "I have decided to allow Jiang Li Min's family to return to the main family." Just as Old Master Jiang finished speaking, Jiang Ziyang stood up abruptly to oppose. "Grandfather, have you forgotten about what happened in the past? Are you losing your mind?" Jiang Hanchong angrily scolded. "Ziyang, how dare you speak to your grandfather like this?" Jiang Hanchong slowly raised his cup and said coldly, "How could your grandfather just let someone who has made mistakes come back so easily?" Other family members quickly chimed in. "That's right. Our Jiang family has never set such a precedent before." Old Master Jiang looked at Jiang Li Min and said, "Li Min, explain that incident from back then." Jiang Li Min asked Jiang Zhan to send the information about the car accident from back then to everyone. The family members started to discuss it intensively after seeing it. Jiang Hanchong looked at Old Master Jiang and spoke slowly. "Although I also want the Li Min family to come back, it seems that the elders have some doubts about the authenticity of this document. What do you think?" Just then, Qin Li slowly took out a document. "Sorry, I forgot to bring out this document." Qin Li handed the document to Jiang Hanchong. "This is a document that young Master Jiang Zhan gave to the family master alone." Jiang Ziyang angrily shouted at Qin Li, pointing at him. What do you think you are? Zhang Hanchang remained calm. Oh, really? Then I must take a good look. Zhang Hanchang suddenly stood up. However, our Zhang's family clan meeting has never allowed outsiders to be present. Before he could finish his words, Old Master Jiang slowly stood up and interrupted. Dr. Qin is someone I specifically asked to stay here. Looking at the Old Master Jiang moving easily, Zhang Hanchang was shocked. Dad, your legs aren't. Old Master Jiang said coldly, I should be sitting in a wheelchair. Do you think I should always sit in a wheelchair? Zhang Hanchang awkwardly smiled and said, How could that be? Dad, your legs are better. I'm so happy. Old Master Jiang suddenly leaned into Zhang Hanchang's ear and said, Don't think I don't know about what you've been up to. Take a good look at the information in the hands of the legendary physician Qin. Zhang Hanchang picked up the information and immediately became furious. That old guy. So he had been pretending to be clueless all this time. But it's not so easy to bring Jiang Limin's family back either. Old Master Jiang looked at the other clan members. How do you all feel after reading Limin's file? Zhang Hanchang suddenly spoke up. I think it's fine for them to come back, but not just like that. Unless their family can produce a kung fu fighter. At the Jiang's family meeting, Jiang Limin and his son thought that with the support of Old Master Jiang, they could smoothly return to the main family. Under the strong influence of Old Master Jiang, Family Master Jiang Hanchang eventually yielded. It was proposed that in order to return, Jiang Limin's family must produce a kung fu fighter. The surrounding family members immediately began to discuss animatedly. What?
Kung Fu Fighter.
You should know that kung fu fighter is very rare. Ordinary people want to become a kung fu fighter. In addition to needing talent, they also need years of continuous training every day. Only then is it possible to reach the level of a basic kung fu fighter who can break stones with their bare hands. However, if the Zhang's family could produce a kung fu fighter, then the Zhang's family would have a chance to become a first-class family. As soon as someone spoke up, the surrounding clan members immediately echoed in agreement. The opinions of the crowd made it difficult for Old Master Jiang to make a decision. Old Master Jiang turned to look at Jiang Limin, wanting to know the current level of this child, Little Zhen. In order to become a kung fu fighter, even though Little Zhen is young and strong, it probably requires several decades of diligent cultivation. Jiang Zhen looked angry. Dad, since they are deliberately making things difficult for us, why do we need to be so enthusiastic? Zhang Hanchang clapped his hands together. This is something you, Little Zhen, gave up on your own. Don't blame our main family for not letting you come back. Jiang Limin sighed heavily. It seems impossible to return to the capital city in this lifetime. In the villa, Qin Li and two others are drinking tea. Jiang Limin looks resentful. I didn't expect the main family to propose that becoming a kung fu fighter is a requirement for returning. Jiang Zhen asked, besides being a kung fu fighter, do we really have no other options? Qin Li lowered his head. Kung fu fighter. The person from the Skywolf gang last time also said he was a kung fu fighter. Qin Li looked at Jiang Zhen and said, have you ever heard of the Skywolf gang? Jiang Zhen looked puzzled and asked, why are you suddenly asking about the Skywolf gang? Qin Li said, a few days ago, I had a confrontation with them at the bar. Jiang Zhen looked worried and asked, they are kung fu fighters. You weren't hurt, right? Just after saying that, he laughed and slapped his forehead, saying, look at me. What was I thinking? Of course you're fine. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here now. Jiang Limin suddenly stood up and said, so you're saying, Little Qin, you are also a kung fu fighter? I'm not sure about that. What criteria do you use to judge someone as a kung fu fighter? Jiang Zhen said, I heard about it from a friend before. He said that there is a special group of people in this world who live above the rules. These people are called kung fu fighters. Kung fu fighters are divided into 9 levels. The lowest level of kung fu fighter is like a strong athlete. A third-level kung fu fighter can crush stones with their bare hands. High-level kung fu fighters can even move mountains and fill the sea. Jiang Zhen turned to look at the people of the Skywolf gang. Are they as powerful as I said?
Qin Li smilat.
It's not that exaggerated, but they are indeed much stronger than ordinary people. Jiang Zhen suddenly became interested. Brother Qin, can you crush large stones with your bare hands? That I haven't tried. Suddenly, Qin Li looked at Jiang Zhen. But if you only want to reach the level of crushing stones with your bare hands, it's not impossible. Jiang Limin's face was suddenly full of excitement. He almost didn't sit steadily on the chair. Little Qin, you have a way. Qin Li smiled and said, if Uncle Jiang needs it, I do have a method to try. What are the consequences of consuming essence-purifying elixir excessively? Because I promised Jiang Zhen to help him improve his cultivation. Qin Li took action that evening. Qin Li carefully examined the newly refined pill for a while. It should be correct. The color and smell of this pill are exactly the same as what the old man described. Just then, Jiang Zhen suddenly walked in with his eyes half closed. Qin, what are you doing in the kitchen? Look. Qin Li handed a small bowl filled with pills to Jiang Zhan. Jiang Zhan curiously picked up the pill. What is this thing? Jiang Zhan looked disdainful. This couldn't have been scraped off from you, right? Qin Li had black lines all over his face. How is that possible? Jiang Zhan brought the pill closer to smell it. So fragrant. Qin, my brother, what is this exactly? Qin Li asked as he fiddled with the pill. Aren't you the one who wants to become a kung fu fighter? Before I started cultivation, my master gave me a pill called Essence Purifying Elixir to consume. Before Qin Li could finish speaking, Jiang Zhan immediately threw 2 Essence Purifying Elixir pills into his mouth. He didn't forget to praise them too. These things taste pretty good. Qin Li immediately turned his head. He asked in astonishment, You ate both of them? Jiang Zhan replied with a nostalgic look. So what? Didn't I just eat those 2 pills of yours? Do you need to make such a fuss? Qin Li forced a smile. The Essence Purifying Elixir needs to be taken with a medicinal catalyst, and only 1 pill can be consumed at a time. Otherwise, looking at Qin Li's serious expression, Jiang Zhan broke out in a cold sweat. What will happen otherwise? Early the next morning, Zhang Limin arrived at the villa and happened to see Qin Li, little Qin, who had just woken up. Do you know where little Jin is? Zhang Limin asked. Qin Li hesitated and said, he should still be practicing martial arts. Let me go check first. Outside the room, Zhang Limin heard Jiang Zhan's excited shout. I didn't expect Qin brothers' stuff to be so fierce. I was almost tortured to death last night. Qin Li replied, Don't blame my stuff for that. You couldn't even stop yourself from eating. Then came Jiang Zhan's shout. Be gentle. I'm still sore now. How about this? Yes, that's comfortable here. Zhang Limin's face was full of dark lines. Suddenly, he opened the door and scolded angrily. This is outrageous. How dare you do something so vulgar in broad daylight? But before he could finish his sentence, he was immediately stunned. Qin Li and Jiang Zhan looked at Zhang Limin with confusion on their faces. What's wrong, Dad? Qin Li is helping me clear my meridians. Zhang Limin looked embarrassed and quickly left the room. It's nothing. It's nothing. You can continue. Qin Li continued to help Jiang Zhan clear his meridians. It's almost done. Your body has been purified quite thoroughly. Jiang Zhan was overjoyed. Does that mean I am close to success? Not quite. The Essence Purifying Elixir just helps you change your physique. The next training is the main event. Jiang Zhan can't wait. What are you waiting for? Hurry down to train now. At this moment, Qin Li's phone suddenly rang. Okay, thank you very much, Master Su. Jiang Zhan heard Qin Li calling Master Su. Do the Su's family have any business with you?
Qin Li responda legally.
Master Su asked me to attend their military banquet this afternoon. What? The Su's family actually invited you to their military banquet? Yes. What's wrong? Qin Li looked puzzled. Jiang Zhan explained. You don't know this. This military banquet is basically a competition between several major families in the capital city. Do you know why Cho Well is so afraid of Su in real? Qin Li asked. Isn't it because of the Su's family? It's not just the Su's family. They are just a front. What he is truly afraid of is Su Kong. Su Kong is a legendary figure. Not only did he become a commander at a young age, he also is a level 4 kung fu fighter who has won the championship at the military banquet for 4 consecutive sessions. If you attend the military banquet, you might have the opportunity to meet these prestigious kung fu fighters. Hearing Jiang Zhan's words, Qin Li suddenly felt a bit excited about the afternoon military banquet. That afternoon, Qin Li was invited to the Su family's estate to attend the military banquet. As soon as he stepped in, he heard a burst of exclamations from the crowd. Su Kong was punched and sent flying off the platform by someone. His body heavily slammed onto the ground. Su Enreal and his sister hurried over to help Su Kong up, looking worried. Big brother, are you okay? The crowd watching found it hard to accept this outcome. Discussions and debates broke out one after another. Sorry for any confusion. How can I assist you today?
Su Kang.
He unexpectedly lost. What's going on? He was knocked off the stage after just a few rounds. It seems that Su Kong is nothing special either. Just a level 4 kung fu fighter as well. The difference is just too big. Some people even say that the position of the commander of the Su family may not be maintained. Qin Li saw the 2 siblings supporting the injured Su Kong and quickly stepped forward to ask what had happened. Su Enreal saw Qin Li and was overjoyed. Brother Qin, please help me take a look at my eldest brother. He was injured in a martial arts competition just now. Before Qin Li could speak, Su Kong on the side was full of anger and shouted, No need. This minor injury is nothing. Su Enreal pleaded, Elder brother, it's already at this point. Just let Brother Qin take a look. I have seen his miraculous medical skills, Su Shiryu also persuaded. Yes, older brother. Dr. Qin did save my life after all. After being persuaded by the siblings one after another, Su Kang finally agreed to let Qin Li treat him. Qin Li looked at the wound on Su Kang's chest. It seems that older injuries of Su Kang's have recurred. He should have been resting. Just now, he insisted on sparring with someone and got injured again. Now his entire meridian pulse is damaged. Older injuries? Are you saying my older brother sparred while injured? Speak quieter, little brother. Listen to me. Do not spread the news about my old injury. Su in real does not understand. Older brother. But
Su Kang whispered to Su Inren.
But what but? If you are usually more ambitious, you will be stronger than anything else. Looking at Su Kang's serious injuries, Qin Li took out the essence-purifying elixir he refined last night. This essence-purifying elixir should be of great help to brother Su Kang's injuries. Su Kang looked shocked and asked, "What is essence-purifying elixir?" He couldn't believe that Dr. Qin had such a miraculous elixir. Su in real curiously asked, "What is essence-purifying elixir?" Su Kang explained, "I heard that essence-purifying elixir can quickly repair meridians and pulse. It restores vitality and is a top-grade elixir in the kungfu fighter world. I have been searching for it, but haven't found it." I didn't expect that Dr. Qin could refine essence-purifying elixir. He is truly a rare genius in the world. Just at that moment, a voice sounded from the ring. How much longer does the Su's family want Qin Muses to wait? Can the Su's family not even produce a decent kungfu fighter? Su Kang was furious but helpless. Just at that moment, Su Shiryu took off the shawl and stepped onto the stage. "I will fight you." Qin Muses smiled mischievously. "That's not very nice, is it? Miss Su, I'm afraid your body might not be able to withstand my cannon blast." Saying that, he made a movement as if he was going to hit the top. He said sleazily, "One shot, straight to the soul." Su Shiryu took off his shoulder wrap and stepped onto the stage. "I'll fight you." Suddenly, Su Shiryu fiercely launched a high roundhouse kick towards Qin Muses, but unexpectedly was easily blocked by Qin Muses. Qin Muses gave a pinch on Su Shiryu's thigh. Miss Su is indeed the flower of the military. The touch is really beyond words. Qin Muses looks at Su Shiryu with a lecherous smile on his face. It's best for girls not to engage in fights or killings. Otherwise, I have no mercy for beautiful women. After saying that, he fiercely kicked Su Shiryu away. Only a thud was heard. Su Shiryu heavily smashed onto the platform. Qin Muses quickly rushed up, swinging a punch towards Su Shiryu. Su Shiryu, unable to avoid it, suddenly felt desperate. There was only a bang. Qin Muses' fist was abruptly blocked by Qin Li. Qin Li said coldly, "Just trying to have a martial arts competition. You actually hit so hard." Qin Muses smirked disdainfully. "Where did this trash come from again? Do you want to save the beauty?" They quickly turned around and assumed fighting stances. "Forget about all that. I just can't stand your arrogant attitude. I couldn't help but want to teach you a lesson. But if I win against you, you must apologize to Miss Su." Su Shiryu, who was lying on the side, listened to Qin Li's words. "I don't know why I suddenly felt my face getting hot." Qin Muses burst into laughter. "You make me apologize. I can tell you are getting impatient, looking for death." Su Shiryu struggled to get up. "Dr. Qin is very strong. You are no match for him." At the same time, the scene of the two just having a fist fight was also seen by the important figure on the stage. A man wearing glasses with interest said, "Sir Su, what kind of master is this friend you've invited? The momentum looks impressive." Sir Su explained, "He is a doctor friend of my son, Enreal, who once saved Enreal's life. I haven't asked much about the others." The man with glasses stared at Qin Li on the stage, daring to challenge the Qin Muses. Quite courageous. I hope this time Chief can find someone he approves of. At this moment, Qin Muses on the stage are already impatient. "Have you finished chatting? Today I will show you what a real kung fu fighter is like." A surge of powerful energy suddenly erupted from the body of Qin Muses. A dense flow of blood-red electricity appeared around him. Qin Muses rushed towards Qin Li like lightning. His fist ruthlessly smashed towards Qin Li's head. "How is it? You can't keep up with my speed, even if you have a little bit of strength. In front of me, you are just a bug." After speaking, he quickly feinted and kicked towards Qin Li's face. Then he heavily crashed onto the platform. The floor under the tremendous force of his legs. The platform was instantly smashed into a large pit. Qin Muses looks at Qin Li smugly. "Did you see that? This is the strength of a strong person. You insect." The surrounding audience was shocked by the powerful strength of Qin Muses, admiring the level 4 Kung Fu fighter strength, truly worthy of being a member of the Qin's family. Qin Muses stomped fiercely on the ground. The whole person flew rapidly towards Qin Li with a look of disdain on his face. "Watch how easily a simple move from me could defeat you." only to see Qin Li slowly raise his hand and effortlessly block the heavy punch from Qin Muse's. Immediately, he counterattacked with a punch. With a crisp sound, Qin Muse's flew out like a kite with a broken string. Just a second ago, this person was showing off his kung fu skills in front of Qin Li with a smug look on his face. But in the next second, he was brutally knocked away by Qin Li, and he fell unconscious directly on the arena. This scene immediately shocked the whole audience. Su Kong also looked at it with an unbelieving expression. Who on earth is this Qin Li? Watch Qin Li step down from the stage. Su Enreal looks up with admiration on his face and yells loudly, "Brother Qin, you were awesome in this battle." Su Kong also steps forward. "I never thought that Brother Qin is also a kung fu fighter. My brother never mentioned it to me. I wonder who his master is." Qin Li awkwardly scratched his head. "Big brother Su Kong, you are flattering me too much. In fact, I am just on my own and do not belong to any martial arts sect." At this moment, a voice suddenly came from behind Qin Li. "Oh, I see. I wonder if the young brother is interested in joining the military department." The three siblings from the Su family saw the visitor and immediately stood at attention, saluting respectfully. "Hello, Advisor Wang." Advisor Wang looked at Qin Li and said, "Since you have such strength, why not find a team where you can belong and make the most of your abilities?" Qin Li scratched his head in puzzlement. Belonging? Yes. If the younger brother is willing to join the army, there is a vacant position of captain on my side. Su Kong quickly introduced Qin Li to Advisor Wang of the General Military Region of Yanxia Country. Qin Li bowed slightly to Advisor Wang and said, "Advisor Wang, thank you for your kindness. However, for now, I just want to be a regular doctor." Upon hearing Qin Li's words, Advisor Wang was initially taken aback. He then smiled again and said, "Young man, think carefully about it. This kind of opportunity is not something that everyone can come across." He then walked forward and said, "Besides, you just helped the Su's family defeat the Qin Muses as an outsider. If you don't have the protection of an army, the Qin's family may cause trouble for you in the future." Qin Li spoke lightly. "So, what do you mean?" In fact, the annual military banquet is an opportunity for selecting talents for the Yanxia country military. Having just defeated the Qin Muses, you are qualified to participate. With your qualifications, you are fully eligible to take on the position of captain. Joining the military, you will be under the command of Su Kong in the future. In this way, you can also be considered half a member of the Su's family. Qin Li still wanted to decline. "But I am just an ordinary person used to being free. I'm afraid I can't take on this heavy responsibility." Advisor Wang then patted Qin Li on the shoulder. "I have already figured these out for you. It's not convenient for you to live in Jiangcheng City now. I have no intention of giving you any tasks." Still hesitating whether to see Qin Li. "What should I do? Do you think the position is too low, or you don't want to work for Yanxia country? To serve the country?" Qin Li suddenly felt a lot of pressure. "No." Advisor Wang considered very carefully. "Why wouldn't I be willing?" Immediately, Advisor Wang snapped his fingers. A long-haired beauty approached Qin Li with a badge in hand. "Congratulations, Captain Qin." Before Qin Li could carefully examine the badge. After Advisor Wang left with words of believing they would meet again soon. Qin Li looked at the figure going away and muttered to herself, "Meet again. What does that mean?" Qin Li easily defeated Qin Muses. Advisor Wang gave Qin Li the position of captain and awarded the captain's insignia. Su Enreal looked at elder brother Qin Li with envy all over his face. "You are so awesome. Qin Muses had always wanted to get this insignia but never did. Could you lend it to me to have a look?" Qin Li handed the insignia to Su Enreal. He thought, "It seems that the old man who taught me the cultivation method originally should be what they call a kung fu fighter. But what did the old man mean by destined to hit at that time? Also, what does it mean when young Master Su mentioned that Master Qin, who looks a lot like me, said something?" After finishing looking at the badge, Su Enreal wanted to return the badge to Qin Li and called him Brother Qin several times before Qin Li came back to his senses. "By the way, young Master Su, you mentioned before that there is a Master Qin who looks a lot like me. Could it be the Master Qin from the Qin family you were referring to?" Su Enreal put the badge back into the brocade box. "He shouldn't be a member of the Qin's family. In fact, I've only seen him once." Su Enreal suddenly became sad. At that time, it was still a family member who arranged for him to come and treat my deceased brother. Qin Li quickly apologized to Su Enreal. Su Enreal waved his hand, indicating that it was all in the past. "Do you know any other information about him?" Su Enreal tried hard to remember. Nothing else came to mind. However, his attire at the time clearly indicated that he was not an ordinary person. He should also be a kung fu fighter. Su Kong suddenly pointed at the badge and said, "Brother Qin, if you want to find Master Qin, your badge can come in handy." Qin Li looked at Su Kong and asked, "What do you mean, Su brother?" The insignia on your hand is divided into 4 levels in the military: iron, bronze, silver, and gold. In addition to being a symbol of identity in the military, they have another function. Insignias of silver level and above can freely enter specific places in the Kung Fu fighter world. Qin Li looked puzzled.
Kung Fu Fighter World.
Specific places. What are these again? What does it mean?
Su Kang Et Lai.
For example, to enter the bar, you must satisfy both the conditions of being a Kung Fu fighter and having a certain status. Although I have never been there, I heard that sometimes there are advanced Kung Fu fighters participating in martial arts competitions inside. After listening to Su Kang's words, Qin Li thought that if she wanted to find Master Qin, she could only go to Kung Fu Fighter Bar to inquire first. That evening, Qin Li arrived at Kung Fu Fighter Bar. Just as he reached the entrance, the security guard pointed at Qin Li disdainfully and said, "Kid, go play somewhere else. This is not a place for you to enter." Qin Li took out a badge from his pocket. "Can I enter with this?" The security guard was instantly stunned. This is actually a captain-level military badge. The security guard quickly changed his expression and put on a pleasing look. Of course. Please come in quickly." Then he looked at the back of Qin Li. The security guard let out a long sigh of relief. "I have been working here for so many years, and this is the first time I have encountered such a high-level badge." Su Kang told Qin Li that if he wanted to find Master Qin, he could go check out Kung Fu Fighter Bar. Qin Li walked into the bar and found that it was not much different from a regular bar. The difference is that the people inside are much stronger than ordinary people. They can easily lift hundreds of pounds with just one finger. Just as Qin Li was looking around, a voice suddenly came from behind. "Brother Qin, why are you here?" "Why, Brother Qin? Don't you remember me?" Qin Li looked at the man with tattoos on his arms in front of him. "You are from the Skywolf gang." The man with tattoos on his arms handed Qin Li a glass of red wine to formally introduce himself. "Gao Thunder from the Skywolf gang." Qin Li took the red wine. "Thanks. This is my first time at the Kung Fu Fighter Bar. I didn't expect to run into Mr. Gao so coincidentally." Gao Thunder reached out his hand and shook hands with Qin Li. "I just heard that you defeated Qin Muses at the military banquet and obtained the position of captain. Congratulations. But are you really as formidable as the rumors say?" Gao Thunder suddenly increased the power in his hand. But the next second, the enormous force coming from his hand left him in shock. How could this be? It hasn't been long since then. His internal strength seems to have become much stronger than before. The speed of this breakthrough is simply exaggerated. Gao Thunder quickly released his palm and exclaimed, "Brother Qin, you really have such great strength." He then turned around abruptly. WTF. His hand is swollen. "It hurts like hell. I have to go find someone. I'm leaving first." Gao Thunder turned around. "Find someone? Who do you want to find?" After a conversation, Qin Li explained to Gao Thunder the purpose of going to the bar. "So you only know the other person's last name is Qin. He's a Kung Fu fighter, that's all." Qin Li said faintly, "Yes. The information is a bit scarce, but no matter how difficult it is, I must find him. It's okay even if there is little information. Maybe there is someone who can help you." Gao Thunder stood up. "If you trust me, then come with me." The two of them quickly entered the elevator. Qin Li looked at the elevator descending, with a puzzled look on his face, and asked, "Underground, where are we going?" Gao Thunder replied with a smile, 1000 G. "Taking you to meet someone. He used to work on collecting intelligence. Maybe he can help you find the person you are looking for." The elevator kept going down until it stopped on the 5th underground floor. Exiting the elevator, Qin Li remarked, "Isn't this the Kung Fu Fighter Bar? Why doesn't it look like it?" Gao Thunder responded, "Right, Kung Fu Fighter. Actually, what's on the ground is just the tip of the iceberg. What's underground is the real world. These were all built by the senior members of the Skywolf gang over the years. There are a total of 10 levels underground. The deeper the level, the greater the level of clearance required." Gao Thunder placed his left hand on the electronic screen for fingerprint recognition. The right hand then enters the password, and only a beep is heard. The gate slowly opened. "Welcome to the core base of the Skywolf gang." It turns out it was hidden underground at Kung Fu Fighter Bar. With the base gate slowly opening, Qin Li was full of shock. They originally thought the Skywolf gang was just an underground gang, but now it seems like it is more complicated than that. Gao Thunder pointed at the one-eyed man in front of him. "The person I just mentioned is him." The one-eyed man heard the voice and suddenly turned around and stood up. "Boss, Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, I have a friend who wants you to help find someone." Qin Li looked at the one-eyed man. "Hello. I want to find a Kung Fu fighter with the last name Qin. He looks very similar to me. Can you help me check it out?" The one-eyed man took a few more glances at Qin Li, who also wants to find a Kung Fu fighter with the last name Qin. Is it a coincidence? The one-eyed man activated the scanning system on Qin Li's face. Can you tell me about the things the other party has been involved in or the places they have appeared? He has been. The Sue's family invited to treat the deceased child of the Sue's family. It should be possible. I'll give it a try. It shouldn't be too difficult. The system quickly started to search and identify. While waiting for the results, Qin Li suddenly saw a sign on the table that was pressed down. Why does this sign look so familiar? Qin Li pointed at the sign.
I'm sorry.
Can I take a look at this sign? Unexpectedly, the one-eyed man pulled out the sign.
Sorry.
This is my personal item. At the moment the sign was pulled out, Qin Li clearly saw the words on the sign. Military Intelligence Section 19 Duan Xiaofeng. Qin Li was excited immediately. You are also a member of Military Intelligence Section 19. Do you know Liang Xian?
Liang Xin.
Duan Xiaofeng seems a bit sad. She is the only girl in our Section 19. Of course, I know her. However, she has passed away. Passed away? How is that possible? Liang Xian has been looking for your whereabouts all along. Saying that, Qin Li took out his phone and found a photo of Liang Xian. In the beginning, she fainted from her injury at my clinic. I saved her. Now she is helping me manage the clinic. I heard that Liang Xian is still alive. Duan Xiaofeng immediately looked happy. I thought she had sacrificed herself. It seems this girl is pretty lucky. Met you. I also asked my friends to find out about you before. But there was no news all along. I didn't expect to meet you here. Qin Li asked in confusion. Since you are still alive, why don't you go find your teammates? Duan Xiaofeng looked hesitant. The boss here has been kind to me. There are some things that I can't talk about. Gao Thunder gestured to the side, indicating it's fine. Qin brothers are my friends. Besides, he is the savior of your comrade. It's all right to tell him everything. Duan Xiaofeng looked at the sign and reminisced, saying, that was 2 years ago. Military Intelligence Section 19 has been tasked with apprehending an important fugitive. Unexpectedly, it was a trap. The entire building has been destroyed by explosives. Afterwards, Section 19 was also sealed off. I also escaped death by a narrow margin at that time. I was ultimately saved by the boss. Duan Xiaofeng suddenly slammed his hand hard on the table. Now I just want to find out who the traitor is and catch him. Clear Section 19 of any wrongdoing as well. But because the mission is so mysterious, the only breakthrough is the commander of the initial mission, a level 9 kungfu fighter named Qin. At this time, the system search recognition rate on the screen has reached 99%. Skywolf Gang Gao Thunder brought Qin Li to the core base. Asked Duan Xiaofeng to help find Master Qin. Just as the system recognition rate is about to reach 100%, suddenly the system emits a beeping alarm sound. The page instantly changes from blue to red. Decode failure. This content is prohibited from access. Duan Xiaofeng looked at Qin Li and said, it seems like the person you are looking for is not simple. Moreover, it is very likely that the person you are looking for is the same person I am looking for. Then he fiercely started typing on the keyboard, but still did not obtain any information. The information about him is protected by the high-level intelligence system. It will take some time to crack it. Qin Li asked, which high-level intelligence system are you referring to? Duan Xiaofeng replied, that is a top-secret system controlled by the military of Yinxia country. Qin Li fell into contemplation. This person is so mysterious, he thought. What secrets are they hiding after all? But since they have contact with the military, at least there is a direction for investigation. Gao Thunder suddenly opened a hidden compartment on the side of the system, took out a remote control. Xiaofeng was right. Changran is indeed difficult to crack, but it's not entirely impossible to find a person. If the Skywolf Gang didn't have some real skills, how could they make a name for themselves in the Yinxia country? As Gao Thunder spoke, he pressed the remote control in his hand. A screen slowly rose from the ground. Gao Thunder pointed to the large screen. Brother Qin, this is our Skywolf Gang's intelligence system. As Qin Li looked at the information of kung fu fighters appearing on the screen, he realized that the Skywolf Gang was not just an ordinary gang on the surface, but a powerful underground organization with formidable fighting capabilities. Qin Li turned his head to look at Gao Thunder. Conditions? Mr. Gao is so enthusiastic about helping me. I'm afraid there are other conditions. Gao Thunder chuckled. Since Brother Qin is so clever, then I'll just say it straight. Actually, it's not really much of a condition. I just get along well with Brother Qin. I really appreciate you. I hope you can join our Skywolf Gang. Qin Li was thinking that although Gao Thunder's motives were still unclear for the time being, but based on him saving Duan Xiaofeng and his attitude towards Duan Xiaofeng, it doesn't seem like he is a bad person. Qin Li readily agreed without hesitation. Skywolf Gang, if you need me in the future. As long as it's not something illegal, I will do my best to help. Haha, refreshing. Gao Thunder reached out his hand to Qin Li. Welcome to join the Skywolf Gang. Qin Li reached out and shook his hand. It's not early now. Let's end here for today. Qin, feel free. I will continue to investigate the person you are looking for on my side. If I get any information, I will inform you immediately. Watching the slowly closing big gate, Duan Xiaofeng looked at Gao Thunder and said, Boss, is Mr. Qin really worth your attention? Xiaofeng, the reason I am able to sit in this position today is not just because of strength, but also more importantly vision, Gao Thunder said as he pressed the remote control in his hand. Qin Li's information suddenly appeared on the large screen. Qin Li, a person even the Su's family holds in high regard. Isn't he worth our effort to win over? And the Skywolf gang will need a powerful backer in the future. Return to the ground to the Kung Fu Fighter Bar's Qin Li. I am messaging Liang Xian. Suddenly a familiar figure appeared before my eyes. Miss Su, what are you doing here too? I came specifically to find you. Qin Li looked puzzled. To find me? Is something wrong with Su's injuries again? It's not about my brother. It's not convenient to talk here. Follow me. Saying this, he grabbed Qin Li and walked outside the bar. The two arrived at the entrance of the bar. Su Shiryu looked serious as he said to Qin Li, Mr. Qin, please leave capital city. Qin Li responded calmly, I don't quite understand. I, of the Su's family, don't want to be implicated because of your conflict with Qin Muses. So, that's how it is. Qin Li patted his chest and said, Miss Su, please rest assured. I will never let the Su's family be affected in the slightest because of my relationship. Before Qin Li could finish speaking, Su Shiryu rudely interrupted. Qin Li, you are still too young. Does the Qin's family have the strength to become a major family in the capital city? I am doing this for your own good. Qin Li apologized. I'm sorry, Miss Su. I still have some unfinished business in capital city. I can't leave for the time being. Su Shiryu looked at the resolute Qin Li and said helplessly, well, since you have made up your mind, I won't say much more. Let's go. Let's go back to the Su's family, said Su Shiryu as he pulled out a poison needle from behind. Just then, a voice rang out at the entrance of the bar. Oh, Qin brothers, you are really here. I just tried calling you, but there was no signal. Looking at the newcomer, Qin Li was suddenly filled with shock. What? What is going on? There are actually two Su Shiryus. Su Enreal was completely stunned, confirmed back and forth, exclaimed, how can there be two second eldest sisters? Su Enreal looked at Su Shiryu beside Qin Li. Didn't we agree to come together? Why did you arrive alone? Later, Su Shiryu quickly spoke up, younger brother, she is fake. That person may be a high-level kung fu fighter skilled in disguises. It's dangerous. Don't go over. Su Shiryu beside Qin Li speaks up. A thief crying, stop the thief. You are the fake one. I came here to find Qin Li for the matter of the last military banquet.
Later, Su Shiryu Adger.
The matter of the military banquet has long been known. It's not difficult to find out. Furthermore, advanced disguised kung fu fighters can change their appearance to look like someone else within minutes. Upon hearing this, Qin Li immediately remembered the information about the kung fu fighter with face-changing skill that she had just seen on the Skywolf Gang intelligence network. Since she was able to infiltrate the Su's family army banquet, she's probably not a low-level kung fu fighter. Plus, the situation is still unclear. It's not advisable to act rashly. Su Enreal pointed to Su Shiryu beside Qin Li and asked, does that mean you're my sister? Here. Su Shiryu began to reveal embarrassing things about Su Enreal. Did the little brother forget that he was still bedwetting at the age of 7? This is our secret between the two of us. Su Enreal's face turned red instantly. Sister, how could you also mention this? Su Shiryu, who came after, could only touch his forehead and say helplessly. The Su family records all the major events of their lives from birth in the family log. It's not hard to find out about when you wet the bed at 7 years old.
Su Inden Suden Li Vilit.
That seems to make sense. Likes mischievous and naughty children. Must have caused quite a few embarrassing incidents. Su Shiryu did something to prove that he is the real deal. Su Enreal has brought up all the things he had done since childhood. Su Enreal was so embarrassed that he collapsed directly to the ground. Only to see Su Shiryu speaking. I didn't expect you to investigate the Su family's matters so thoroughly. Another person said, no matter what your intentions are, I will not let you off easily. As soon as the words fell, the two immediately exerted all their strength and engaged in a fierce battle. Suddenly a figure flashed at extremely fast speed to the middle of the two people's duel. With a loud bang, Qin Li steadily blocked the punches from both of them. The silver needles and hands swiftly pierced the backs of the two people's hands. The mystic power traveled through the silver needles into the bodies of the two people. Since it's impossible to distinguish the real culprit from the fake one on the surface, we can only rely on this method. Sorry, Miss Su. Su Shiryu looked at her palm in surprise. Strange. It doesn't hurt at all. And her body seems to be surrounded by a warm current. So comfortable. Qin Li held hands with the fake Su Shiryu. If Miss Su didn't get injured at the military banquet in the afternoon, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to tell the real from the fake. People can change their appearance, but injuries are something that no one can disguise. Listening to Qin Li's analysis, the fake Su Shiryu suddenly revealed a strange smile. Speaking coldly, I originally just wanted you to leave capital city. I didn't expect you to actually see through my face-changing technique. You were lucky this time. Although I only met Miss Su today, from what I know about her, she wouldn't make such a hasty decision. You analyzed it correctly, but I have also kept a trick up my sleeve. Claiming to be Su Shiryu, suddenly stabbed out with a poison needle. Qin Li reached back with a grab, but was easily dodged by the opponent. Only to see fake Su Shiryu leap several times in a row. Landed steadily on the roof of the bar. Kid, with just your little ability, do you think you can mix in a place like Capital City where all kinds of people gather? I advise you to leave as soon as possible. After finishing speaking, he suddenly leaped into the air and left. Qin Li watched the figure leaving in Capital City, thinking that he didn't expect this person to be so strong. It seems that more information needs to be investigated in Capital City. It is necessary to improve strength as soon as possible. Su Shiryu on the side spoke. With such strong strength, they are probably senior kung fu fighters from the major gangs in Yinxia country. They should have been hired by the Qin's family at a cost. However, Qin Li, rest assured, the Su's family will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly. The three of them prepared to go home. Qin Li suddenly turned his head and looked at Su in real. How did you know I was here?
Su Injen spoke.
My brother said he has something urgent to discuss with you. I tried calling you but couldn't reach you. I was thinking that you mentioned coming to Kung Fu Fighter Bar in the afternoon, so I came over to take a look. Su Shiryu opened the car door. It's getting late today. Let's go to my brother's place early tomorrow. The three of them got into the car. They left the bar. At this moment, in a hidden spot behind a big tree, I didn't expect this kid to be quite subtle in his thoughts. Unexpectedly, the mystic power detected and exposed me. Moreover, his fighting power is extremely strong. It should be at the level of a level 7 Kung Fu fighter. Su Shiryu's face revealed a smile full of interest. Since you are unwilling to leave Capital City on your own, let me help you. After leaving Kung Fu Fighter Bar, Qin Li returned to the Su's family with the siblings. The next morning, several people arrived at the Military Medical Research and Development Department of the Su's family. Did the Qin brothers find someone last night? It's considered a lead. However, it will still take some time. Is Su brother Su Kong looking for me in a hurry? Su Kong suddenly grabbed Qin Li's hand. Brother Qin, do you see anything different about me? Qin Li looked puzzled. Su Kong pointed to his cheek. Take a closer look here. The scar I had before actually disappeared overnight. Qin Li asked puzzledly. Isn't this a good thing? Su, what are you worried about? Su Kong pointed to the medicine in front. Qin, take a look. These wound treatment medicines have already been on the market, but recently, they have been returned by the partner. The reason is that a new medicine has recently appeared in Capital City, and its efficacy is particularly good. It is effective for both men and women. It has almost monopolized the entire market. Out of curiosity, I also bought a bottle last night to try. To my surprise, the old scar on my face actually healed. Su Kong looks at Qin Li. Brother Qin, your medical skills are superb. You have a good understanding of the principles of medication. So, I'd like to trouble you to help me look at the ingredients of this medicine. I also want to improve our products. Su Kong handed the ointment to Qin Li. If you can research it, you can use the medicinal materials here in the future as you like. The reward is also up to you. Qin Li took the ointment, while feeling the abundant mystic power of the medicinal materials nearby. These precious medicinal materials are indeed very helpful for my cultivation. Qin Li opened the bottle and smelled the familiar scent. She looked surprised. Isn't this the ointment formula I wrote before? Qin Li looked at Su Kong. The formula for this ointment was invented by me. I handed it over to my wife before coming to Capital City. If I'm not mistaken, this ointment should be produced by my wife's company. Su Kang's face was full of surprise after hearing this. But thinking about it again, it makes sense. So these drugs for treating external injuries must be easy for you. Brother Qin, you are so young and already have a wife. Su Shiryu is also surprised. You are so young to be married. Qin Li put ointment on and said lightly, my wife and I were college classmates. We got married after graduation. I am their family's matrilocal son-in-law. Upon hearing this, Su Kong, who was originally drinking tea, suddenly spurted it out. Matrilocal son-in-law? Qin brothers, you have such high medical skills and kung fu fighter strength. He is willing to be a matrilocal son-in-law. Su Shiryu is full of emotion. Mrs. Qin is really lucky. Su Kong looks at Qin Li. Since you invented this ointment, I do have a slightly embarrassing request. the Military Medical Research and Development Department of the Su's family. In the future, Su Kong made a shy request to Qin Li. Although we, the Su's family, are responsible for the production of military medical supplies. However, the effectiveness of some medicines is not comparable to certain special formulations available on the market. So I would like to hire you as the consultant for effective medicines for our Su's family. If you are willing, any conditions can be discussed. If your wife wants to enter the skincare product market in Capital City in the future, the Su's family will provide full assistance, and I, representing the Su's family, promise you 3 conditions that do not violate the law or morals. Qin Li listened to the conditions set by Su Kong. She thought about Su Kang's strong personality based on the pinyin system. If she is allowed to develop in the capital city, she would definitely be willing and agree to it. If you want to find Master Qin and improve your cultivation, I'm afraid you'll have to stay in capital city for a while. At the same time, Su Kong is also scheming. A kung fu fighter of profound and unpredictable strength, and possessing such remarkable medical skills and pharmaceutical manufacturing abilities, particularly suitable for individuals like Qin Li. The Su family must never be enemies with them. Can only do our best to win them over. Just at this moment, Qin Li said, since Brother Su doesn't mind, then I agree. Su Kang's face immediately lit up with joy. Brother Qin, indeed straightforward. Early the next morning, Qin Li was having breakfast in the villa when suddenly his phone rang. Qin Li saw that it was a message from Duan Xiaofeng. Mr. Qin, I have arrived. Just at this moment, a man wearing only shorts walked down from upstairs. Brother Qin, good morning. What's going on with you? Getting stared at by Qin Li. Jiangxin suddenly felt embarrassed. I didn't expect essence-purifying elixir to be so powerful. It made me feel too hot. Qin Li stood up and grabbed Jiangxin's wrist. Mystic power flowed along Jiangxin's meridians and circulated through his entire body. Qin Li said with a smile, your body has been honed almost to perfection. I'll give you some kung fu instructional books. Jiangxin was extremely excited. Finally, the day has come. Qin Li quickly brought some secret manuals to Jiangxin. She spoke lightly, choose one. Jiangxin looked at the rudimentary manuals that resembled comic books and felt embarrassed. Ask, she said. Qin, brother, are you sure practicing this won't lead to demonic possession and death? Don't worry. Qin Li casually pushed a secret manual in front of Jiangxin. Just keep practicing. There won't be any problems. Just keep going. At that moment, a knocking sound came from the door. When Qin Li opened the door, she found that it was Duan Xiaofeng. How did you get here? Duan Xiaofeng spoke slowly. What's the matter? Does Mr. Qin not like me going with you to see my comrade? Just as Qin Li was still wondering how Duan Xiaofeng knew where he lived, Duan Xiaofeng opened the car, waved to Qin Li to get in the car. Soon, the car drove away from the bustling city. Qin Li looked at the rundown villages outside the car. He asked, it seems like this is the way to the airport. Duan Xiaofeng replied casually, we're short on time. Let's take a shortcut.
Qin Li disagree.
By the way, did you find any information about Master Qin later? The information about the other party is too well hidden and I haven't found any clues yet. But there's a high probability that the other party is no longer in this world. It seems like this lead is also about to be cut off. Qin Li and Duan Xiaofeng are on their way to the airport. Qin Li is asking about Master Qin's message. Duan Xiaofeng replied that Master Qin may no longer be alive. Just then, Duan Xiaofeng, who was bound and hidden in the trunk of the car, woke up and opened his eyes. He listened to the conversation happening in front of him, realizing that the people in front were likely the ones who had knocked him unconscious and captured Mr. Qin. And they even disguised themselves to look like me in order to get close to Mr. Qin. Duan Xiaofeng wants to break free from the rope and warn Qin Li, but he didn't know what the person had done to him. He couldn't summon any strength in his body. At the same time, fake Duan Xiaofeng suddenly pointed to the drawer in front of the car and said, Mr. Qin, could you please help me get the eye drops inside? Just as Qin Li opened the drawer, a red gas rushed out. Immediately, Qin Li felt dizzy and lightheaded, and soon lost consciousness. The next second, Qin Li had already been moved to an abandoned house, only to see the fake Duan Xiaofeng squatting in front of Qin Li with a rope. Don't blame me. You will understand later that this is all for your own good. Just at this moment, Qin Li, who was originally unconscious, suddenly reached out his hand and grabbed him urgently. Fake Duan Xiaofeng couldn't dodge in time. Qin Li suddenly tore off his disguised face. Fake Duan Xiaofeng stepped back. He distanced himself from Qin Li for quite a while. I didn't expect that I disguised myself so well. You still see through my face-changing skill. Qin Li casually threw the mask on the ground. When I saw you for the first time today, I sensed the aura in you. It's just like the person who pretended to be Miss Su before. Completely different from Duan Xiaofeng. And according to Duan Xiaofeng's rigorous personality, Nor would he come to find me directly without any disguise. The man in the mask smiled coldly. It seems I was careless. But even if you have seen through me, so what? You are still too weak. As he spoke, a purple aura suddenly flashed on the man in the mask's hand. He dashed towards Qin Li like lightning. Qin Li looked shocked. Thinking it was too fast, there was no time to dodge. Then the man in the mask punched heavily on Qin Li's body. Qin Li was slammed hard against the wall. The man in the mask grabbed Qin Li's neck. I originally wanted to advise you to leave Capital City, but you just wouldn't listen. Then don't blame me. Qin Li viciously grabbed the masked man's arm with one hand. With difficulty, she asked, why should I listen to advice from someone like you? With only a pu sound, 3 silver needles in Qin Li's hand ruthlessly pierced into the masked man's arm. Instantly, blood gushed out from the masked man's arm. Qin Li was panting heavily, thinking that his right hand would probably be temporarily unusable now. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the masked man's right hand slammed fiercely into Qin Li's face. Just a loud crack. Qin Li was sent flying by the punch, smashing through the wall. Qin Li was hit hard in the face by the man in the mask. The whole person flew out and smashed through the surrounding wall. In the dust, Qin Li slowly squatted up, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. What kind of strength does this person have? Even with Q points sealed by silver needles on his right hand, he can still be so powerful. At this moment, the masked man circulated his energy. Since you are so disobedient, I won't waste my breath talking to you anymore. Just then, the masked man erupted with astonishing energy all over his body. A gust of wind spread out in all directions. Qin Li's face was full of shock. Such strong energy. No, the difference in strength is too large. We need to figure out a solution. We can't just rely on brute force. Qin Li looked around and found that there were barren graves all around. There is a solution now. This place is a graveyard. Mountains surrounds the 4 sides. It is the gathering place of malefic energy. Immediately, Qin Li ran swiftly towards the direction of the cemetery. Want to run? Can you escape? Everything here is within my control. Qin Li suddenly turned around and quickly shot out 3 silver needles at a tricky angle. However, he effortlessly dodged the silver needles thrown by Qin Li. The masked man smirked, truly overestimating yourself. Next, Qin Li shot out a series of silver needles in succession, but they were all evaded by the masked man as he dodged to the side. The masked man walked slowly towards Qin Li. You really are persistent, he sneered. What's the point of struggling in vain? Qin Li remained indifferent, just as the masked man reached the center of the graveyard. Now is the time. Qin Li suddenly shot out the silver needle in his hand. Immediately, a blood-red light emanated from under the masked man's feet. Countless malefic energy surged towards the masked man.
Assemble maléfique Kuisha formation.
Quickly, the malefic energy transformed into palm-shaped restraints binding the masked man. Soon after, more malefic energy turned into beast heads, continuously tearing and biting at the masked man. The masked man looked shocked. Assemble Malefic produced a clever move with Qisha. You attacked me with a silver needle just now. You just wanted to lure me into the center of the formation. I didn't expect you to be quite accomplished in the art of feng shui. Qin Li spoke up. It's also thanks to you for looking down on my small skills from the beginning. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so successful. The masked man lightly spoke. I admit I underestimated you before. But do you think you can trap me like this? In front of strong power, petty tricks are useless. Only to see the masked man caught the bound evil spirit in one grasp. With a single exertion of force from his palm, he effortlessly crushed the evil spirit into nothing. Qin Li was so shocked that his eyes widened and his mouth gaped. WTF? How is this possible? I saw the masked man easily break free from the evil spirit's constraints. With a kick of his feet, he broke through the assemble malefic Qisha formation and rushed quickly towards Qin Li. Qin Li, who was completely powerless to dodge, was hit heavily with a punch, spitting out blood from his mouth. The masked man immediately leaped forward, hands together, and fiercely smashed down towards Qin Li. Kid, today, I will let you see what a real kung fu fighter is like. With a loud bang, Qin Li was heavily smashed down to the ground. Huff, huff, huff. Qin Li was gasping for breath heavily. You could have killed me just now. Why didn't you do that? The masked man was actually floating in the air. You were beaten up like this, yet you can still keep a clear head. I'm not afraid to tell you. My goal is to disable your meridians and make you leave Capital City. The masked man yelled loudly, final blow, and suddenly flew towards Qin Li. It was obvious that he intended to strike lethally. Just then, a dagger shot rapidly towards the masked man. With a flick, the masked man knocked the dagger away. Next, a masked woman appeared in front of Qin Li. Hurry, quickly retreat.